it down and shoot it straight. Fagan and Biegel in the morning on Hot Talk, KOAN. And now, Fagan and Biegel.
Well, the snow is gone, and we're back to dry roads, at least semi-dry roads. Welcome on this Tuesday morning, the 21st of October, 10 days away from Halloween. The Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie Show. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron on KOAN, KVNT. Glen Biegel and Bonnie Cameron are in the studio with me, but they will not be speaking during the show. I've already informed them that I'll be doing all the talking. It'll be, no one will say anything stupid. I'm the only one talking.
Oh.
There'll be no,
Where are you going with this, Dan?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just rambling.
Quit while you're ahead.
Where are you headed? What walls are we crashing into today?
I have a heart of gratitude today, which is dangerous because I think I'm much better grumpy and
Well, oftentimes we can't tell.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, I think when I'm grumpy and looking for something to complain about, I think I'm much more entertaining.
Okay.
But I just can't get mad today. I can't get upset with life. I have a heart full of gratitude.
That's good.
No, not really. It's good for me personally. I'll probably live a lot longer in that mode.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's good for the audience.
I don't know. You're
Why
pretty
not?
entertaining, pretty much regardless of wherever you are at.
This is true.
That's your talent. So why are you gratitudinal?
Gratitudinal?
This is why I wasn't
think
going to
that's
let
a
you
word.
talk today. Saying words that don't exist.
Have you been smoking pot, Glenn?
It does exist, and I just made it up. So it does.
Oh, this pot thing. Oh, man. Talk about take away my gratitudinalness.
Sorry.
I
I would
sure
have to
hope-
do
I
that.
believe it's called gratitudinality.
I sure hope this doesn't go. This is really a big deal.
I think that's the only one that's not going to go. That's my prediction.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
You think that labor union thing's going to go, huh?
Yes. I think they've just put too much money into it. And I talked to a friend of mine whose mother sent in her absentee, and she voted no because she got a flyer in the mail that said that the Muni workers' jobs were going to be outsourced to India if she didn't vote no.
We're going to have Indian cops, huh? Excuse me, sir, you need to pull over, sir.
I think specifically it was dispatch, but
yeah.
So you'll be talking to somebody who can't understand.
Let me do a quiz. I'm going to do a pop quiz. Get out your pens and pencils. This is for extra credit.
I stole it.
I don't think we're allowed to have pens. I'm not allowed to have pens and pencils anymore. And you know what? I've been enjoying it.
Awesome.
It's a little bit less pressure.
The if they were to raise the price, what's a gallon of milk cost? $30? I have no idea.
$3.49.
What
Yeah,
if
something
what
like
if
that.
what if they raise the price of the gallon of milk to $10 a gallon? What would that do to the sale of milk?
You wouldn't buy as much of it. Powdered milk, here we come.
So your official answer is that there would be fewer gallons of milk sold
Yes.
on a daily basis if the price were to double or triple.
Yes.
What's the price of the gallon gas today? I have no idea.
About the same.
Yeah, about the
Okay.
same.
So if
360.
if Brian, I'll give you this because you're smiling. I always like when Brian's smiling. Let's say the price of a gallon of gas went to $8.30. What would that do to the sale of gas?
Boy, I guess that would cut down on the sale of gas.
Well,
It'd be almost as much as buying Coca-Cola.
Wouldn't you take fewer trips? Wouldn't you say, well, let's not go down to Girdwood this weekend?
Yeah.
Because gas is so expensive. It cost me $120 to fill my tank.
Yeah.
So you would amend your behavior.
I'd see if I could work from home.
Right. Let's say that you like guacamole. You like avocados, Brian?
No way.
Okay. What do you like?
Grilled cheese?
Okay, let's say the price of cheese tripled overnight.
Yeah.
Would you eat fewer grilled cheese sandwiches?
No.
That's true. I wouldn't change ribeyes either. That's a terrible example.
Well, then I would starve to death.
My point is, why
You start selling crack.
Why
I'd have
is
to
it?
give up crack.
Why is it, ladies and gentlemen of the classroom? Why is it that these folks in the minimum wage, labor union, workers' party, Soviet-style philosophy, how is it they cannot see that jobs are not the same thing. You know that there was a day, and you won't remember this. You won't remember this. I remember when you would go to a movie theater, you would be escorted to your seat.
No.
Every single yeah. Oh yeah. When I was a kid, when we used to go to the Sanger downtown in New Orleans, every person in the theater would be escorted directly to their seat. They had a person who did nothing but that.
Wow. Talk about service.
It was, well, I remember the day when you couldn't pump your own gas.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
You remember that?
Mhm.
You couldn't pump your own gas. Oh, that's crazy.
Or at least you had the
Gas.
option when I was little.
Well, no, when I was little, we didn't even have the option.
Oh, wow.
And you go to Cars or Fred Meyer's now, you got 12 rows of checkout stands, 4 of them, there's nobody there.
Do it yourself, people.
Why is it that these minimum wage people don't think that this is going to have the same impact on jobs as it would on milk, grilled cheese, except for Brian, or whatever else? Well, how is it they don't see that, Glenn?
They're dumb.
Thank you, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Wow,
See you
that's
tomorrow. 6 a.m.
I think that they consider everything else about this to be more important. Vince Beltrami says it, the head of the AFL-CIO. Look, it's us versus them. The bosses are stealing from the employees, and they're taking their livelihood, and they're taking their time, and they're taking their wages, and it's just a battle. So it doesn't really matter, when you play it on their terms. It doesn't matter what the outcomes are. It doesn't matter if the guy can't, we can't afford, obviously, to have someone escort you to your seat. I really like that idea. I think that would be good.
Do you know what percentage of the labor workforce in 1900 worked in agriculture? Take a guess.
29%.
Bonnie?
I was going to say half.
50%. Brian, you want to take a stab at it?
Did you say 1900?
1900. Yeah, you were 7 then.
I would say maybe 70%.
41.
Ding,
You know
ding,
what?
ding, ding, ding.
Do you know what percentage
That was closest.
of the U.S. workforce works in agriculture now?
1%.
Bonnie? Brian?
Yeah, 5.
Bonnie?
Yeah, 3.
2.
Wow.
It can be done. You can or what do they call it?
Mechanicalize?
Mechanicalize. It can be
Automate?
done.
You can automate.
You give an employer enough motivation, it can be done.
Mm-hmm. ATM machines.
ATM
Think about
machines.
that.
Well, you just have to walk into the bank. You have to walk into the bank, fill out a withdrawal slip.
Did they escort you into the bank, too?
No.
Well, they watched you.
Sir, welcome to
Remember
the
that?
bank.
Do you guys remember that?
Coming to the
Yeah.
bank.
You hear the withdrawal slip, you
Yes.
put your account number, the date, you
Oh,
have to
yes.
sign it.
They have automated burger making machines now.
Oh, you can
Start
forget
to
my
finish.
Yeah.
my poor friend Nilo over at McDonald's.
Yep.
He's done, man.
Done.
Milo, that was his name.
Nilo.
6:14. Fagan
Nilo.
Beagle Bonnie.
Done.
6:14. Fagan Beagle Bonnie.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 5 Conversation. KOAN.
Is your IT with personal printer jams and broken printers? Or individual departments purchasing expensive printer cartridges that get buried in office supply budgets? Is your printer support strategy really a printer replacement plan? Let Alaska Enterprise Solutions show you how to reduce those high print costs. AES is the Xerox professional agency in Alaska with Xerox's worldwide support.
In our test facility, and it's still going strong. In fact,
97% of the time, adding trillions to the national debt, casting the deciding vote for Obamacare, and protecting Obama's executive amnesty for illegal immigrants. Alaska needs a senator who will fight back against Obama's agenda. As our Attorney General, Dan Sullivan sued to stop Obamacare and defended our Second Amendment rights. As Alaska's DNR Commissioner, Sullivan stood down Obama's EPA unleashed new energy production, and created Alaskan jobs. Now Sullivan is running for the U.S. Senate to stop the Washington big spenders from bankrupting America. Sullivan will cut wasteful spending and support a balanced budget amendment. And Dan Sullivan is pro-life. He'll protect life while fighting to repeal Obamacare. Dan Sullivan, strong leadership for Alaska.
I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sullivan for U.S. Senate.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-319-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-319-MY-TV.
At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-319-MY-TV. That's 877-319-MY-TV.
Well, howdy, I'm Nick Worthington for 4x4 Headquarters, Worthington Ford.
Home of over 1,000 vehicles and 700 4x4s.
Head in today and we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. 3 times your PFD, plus pick any vehicle, and you can make no payments until next year. Take a look.
Here's a Ford Explorer for just $89.50. And a Ford Expedition for $99.50.
Here's a Chevy 2500, only $99.50. And here's a Toyota Camry, just $13,900.
Remember, we've got over 1,000 vehicles to choose from. And winter is coming. Get a 4x4 for those icy roads ahead. And the best place for that is 4x4 Headquarters.
And we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. And folks, don't forget your trade-in. We need your trade-in.
Push, pull, or drag it in, and you'll get top dollar.
Now's the time. Head into Giant Worthington Ford on Gamble.
03-2500, Q15878, 08 Expedition, Q1688, 2012 Camry, Q1491, 07 Explorer, Q1111. Unapproved credit, subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Ends 10/23/2014.
It's said that character is what you do when no one is watching. If that's the case, then Senator Kathy Giesel has the sort of character that is needed in Juneau. Away from the photo ops or flashy media events, Kathy Giesel hits the books just like she did in nursing school. For the past 4 years, Senator Giesel has worked hard for you, studying the impact of greater access to immunizations for Alaska's kids, crafting legislation that frees up business owners to expand and hire more Alaskans, and working to improve the infrastructure like roads and schools, not just for this generation, but for generations of Alaskans to come. This election is more than just about promises or bullet points. It's about sending the right person to Juneau with the character to act on behalf of us when we can't watch. We need someone with the character to do the hard work when no one is watching, to make decisions we can trust. We need to re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel.
Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel for Senate. 12701 Ridgewood Road, Anchorage, Alaska, 99516.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give them a call, 569-1080. KOAN.
So much to get to today, so little time. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. We're, 3 weeks exactly from the election. Big election. 569-1080. We're broadcasting on KOAN, KVNT. We're still staying on this Alice Rogoff being a part of the strategy session to come up with the unity ticket.
Did you get any?
I could not get through. Their phones were actually out yesterday. It's the strangest thing.
Who did you call? You just called the ADN?
I called the newsroom. I called the switchboard. And finally, I called the circulation people, which are they outsource. And they said, I'm sorry, we're not, we can't get.
But would you like a paper? It'll be a month free.
Great. Yeah.
You mean like they didn't even have a voicemail?
Nothing.
Or
It just
like
kept
that?
ringing and ringing and ringing. I think it had something to do with the outage. But I did send Rogoff another email. And this time I asked her specifically.
What do we know so far? Let's report the story.
Okay, I'll do that. That's a good idea. I don't want to get too heavy in it. But bottom line is I have found out that Alice Rogoff, publisher of the Anchorage Daily or Alaska Daily or Alaska Dispatch News, was involved in at least one. When I say involved, in person involved, at least one of the strategy sessions that was designed to bring about the unity ticket between Walker and Malott. Hollis French was there, Jim Lotzfeld was there, Vince Beltrami was there, Tom Begich was there. I'm told Alice Rogoff was there. Margie Johnson, also of the Alaska Dispatch News, was there.
And they weren't there as reporters.
No, they were there as
supporters.
Advocates. And it is, of course, there's another story in there today. Every day in the Alaska Dispatch, there's been at least one, sometimes two, sometimes when you count columns, three stories about the National Guard issue. Not only that, you've got, what's the guy from Fairbanks, Dermot Cole, who's written several pro-Walker pieces.
Mm-hmm.
One of them where you pointed out so eloquently, Glenn, he just made up stuff where he said, oh, this will be different than any other lieutenant governor position ever.
Yeah.
They're going to work so well together. Really? Okay. They're just making stuff up. And then you got all the fiscal cliff. We're about to go off the fiscal cliff thing. So the paper's clearly gone in for Parnell. And I will not rest until I hear from Rogoff. If I don't hear from her by 5 o'clock today, I'm going to put a column up on danfagan.us and let people know about it. I saw Steeren put on his Facebook page yesterday that he had heard on another radio show that apparently Rogoff is involved in the Unity ticket. So this will not go away. I don't know that Channel 2 and Channel 11 will ever touch it. They have their own agendas too. By the way, I just want to give away a little secret, and this is how I'm going to start my column. A little dirty little secret about the media.
Mm-hmm.
The newspapers always lead the way.
Yeah.
And, I tried to break my own stories. I really did. But most television reporters are young, inexperienced, don't have first clue. And it's even worse now than it's ever been in this market. The reporters at Channel 11.
They're
Channel
younger
2,
and less experienced.
Yes, and they just don't know how to break stories. They don't have any contacts. Most of them are from here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that really helped me and there was a time when Channel 2 had people like Jason Moore and myself and other reporters who had been here for a long time, and we had contacts and we could break stories ourselves. So the dispatch drives the news cycle. So this is why it's a big deal. When the dispatch says, okay, every day we're going to report on the National Guard, the TV stations are then every day going to report on the National Guard. Because that's how they get their morning meetings, and they go, what's in the paper today?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going to do as news. So that's a dirty little secret some people may not know.
That makes it real tough for Parnell, by the way.
Oh, it's impossible.
Well, and then they make it sound like it's going to be breaking news every day, and then it's like, what?
It's always,
that wasn't
like the story today, the refiring of the 2 National Guard people. That there was nothing new in the story other than that, but they went on and on and on. So the bottom line is, as long as the dispatch is gunning for Parnell because the publisher was in on the formation of the Unity ticket, that is a scandal. I can't think of one that's more disgusting. And look, if you want to be as a newspaper, look, Atwood was a major advocate for statehood. But everybody knew it. He laid his cards on the table. All I'm asking for Alice Rogoff is to say I have set my team with their sights on gunning down Parnell because I believe the Unity ticket's the best for Alaska. Just disclose it. We here in this room will all admit that we want Parnell to win. We want Begich to lose. We want maybe except for Bonnie. We want Sullivan to win. We're not hiding our agenda. That's all we're asking. Now, we try to be fair. We try to be honest. We've criticized Sullivan on occasion. We've criticized Parnell on occasion. But we're not going to hide our agenda.
Well, and like Amanda Coyne, she very clearly says it's no secret that I'm, a Democrat or, whatever she says.
She does that great. She does it all the time. 569-1080. Rob, you're on. Rob.
Hey, Dan. How you doing?
Well.
Hey, I'm glad you're back in Alaska. I followed you around a little bit when you were outside, but not as regular as I'd like to. But I'm glad you're back, and all three of you do a great job every morning. I'm
really happy with the show. I really am.
It's come together nicely.
Thank you.
Hey, coming out of that last break, I just wanted to clarify one thing. I think you said that we're 3 weeks from Election Day, and we're actually 2 weeks from Election Day today. So I just wanted to make sure people realize that, because I think this is an important election, and they're expecting the polls to be pretty crowded. So I actually heard an announcement that they're asking for Republicans to please vote on Tuesday, November 4th, and Democrats to please vote on Wednesday, on November 5th, in order to ease congestion at the polling places.
Actually,
so if you'd get that word out, that'd be great.
We can verify that that's true, Rob, and then that is very accurate. So for those of you who are Democrats, or if it's our oil crowd, please vote on Wednesday, November 5th. It's all been changed. It was very good, Robert. Good information.
All right. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Tread
Bye.
lightly there, Dan.
No. I'll tell you what's going to happen. This is what happened with that. Go down and register to vote.
Yeah, the write-in.
The write-in. I guarantee you somebody's going to write a Dan Fagan election tampering.
Yes.
It's going to happen again.
Yeah, I will register shock actually at this point.
Well, let me just say.
Well, the boss is out of town, so.
Yeah, let me just say, he's not our boss.
That's true.
He's not our boss. Let me just say that I do not want you to vote on Wednesday. Rob and I were jesting.
It's called a joke.
A jest or a joke.
Wow.
I want to give you some numbers here. This is really encouraging to me. Do you approve? Oh, no, let's play the clip first. You got the clip? No? All right, I'll give you some numbers and we'll play the clip. Do you approve or disapprove of President Barack Obama's job performance? Now, this is the public policy polling. They polled about 800 people. This is a left-wing polling outfit.
Democrat organization.
Yes. Approve 40%, disapprove 56%. That's in Alaska. Do you approve or disapprove of Senator Mark Begich's job performance? Approve 42%, disapprove 51%.
Right up there with Obama.
Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Dan Sullivan? Favorable 44, unfavorable. This is huge. 42%. All the money they've spent trying to have this stuff stick to Sullivan. He's only got a 42% unfavorable. Glen Biegel said it to me on the phone last night. You could not win with a 51% disapproval with Mark Begich. And then there's this.
I also spoke to him about those Democratic politicians who haven't embraced him on the campaign trail.
Well, look, here's the bottom line. We've got a tough map. A lot of the states that are contested this time are states that I didn't win. And so some of the candidates there, it is difficult for them to have me in the state because the Republicans will use that to try to fan Republican turnout. The bottom line is, though, these are all folks who vote with me. They have supported my agenda in Congress. They are on the right side of minimum wage. They are on the right side of fair pay. They are on the right side of rebuilding our infrastructure. They're on the right side of early childhood education. So, this isn't about my feelings being hurt. These are folks who are strong allies and supporters of me. And, I tell them, I said, you know what, you do what you need to win. I will be responsible for making sure that our voters turn.
Now, that was last night.
Wow.
That was last night. I was reading this morning. There are already 4 ads being produced in 4 different states with that very clip. He's not a very smart man, Glenn. He just sunk Begich.
Yeah.
He basically said, hey, these guys are with me. Don't worry.
He's mad. He's so narcissistic.
First of all, he didn't sink Begich. Begich is who he is. I don't blame Barack Obama for who Mark Begich is and all the beliefs that he has. Obama is Mark Begich's president. He agrees with him on everything.
Think about the ad.
And that
We'll be
could
back.
chill.
Glen Biegel, Dan Fagan by the camera. 6:30.
And that
We'll be
could
back.
chill.
Glen Biegel, Dan Fagan by the camera. 6:30.
Say the restoration plan for cleaning up the lingering effects of the Exxon Valdez oil spill in 1989 is taking longer than expected. They proposed next June as a date for another update to the court overseeing the restoration plan. An Anchorage woman has been sentenced to 5 years on probation for passport fraud. 43-year-old Maluga Liana, who is a citizen of Samoa, pleaded guilty in July to charges she used fake papers to obtain an ID that qualified her for benefits, such as a permanent fund check. Finally, the state is laying claim to 20,000 acres on the western side of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, based on the grounds that the federal government has been improperly drawing the boundary lines. Finally, the Alaska Federation of Natives is holding its annual convention in Anchorage this week. The AFN's theme for 2014 is Rise as One. That's your Hot Talk News update.
Partly sunny skies for today, high 39. Mostly clear and chilly tonight, low 21. For tomorrow, sunny skies, high 38. Tomorrow night, low 21. Thursday, sunshine and clouds for a high 35. Friday, clouds and sun, high 34. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at SicilysPizza.com. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
My name is Billy Yelvington, and I love being a firefighter.
2 years ago, while fighting a fire, the roof collapsed while Billy was underneath.
I didn't think I was going home.
Captain Mike Hermes and engineer Kevin Woolsey made up the rest of the crew that day.
With the snow load and everything else, they figured that section of the roof was about 6,000 pounds.
Captain Hermes calls a mayday. A firefighter is down.
I says, I got to stay with Billy. And I remember he said 4 words to me. He says, go. I got this. When they finally got him out, I still had that same feeling that he's probably not going to make it.
Billy did make it. But under AO-37, firefighters' voices are silenced on staffing and equipment needs. AO-37 makes a dangerous job more dangerous.
I'm convinced one less firefighter there that day, Billy wouldn't have been here.
Vote no on 1 to keep politics out of public safety. This message is paid for by Repeal 37 and approved by former Police Chief Walt Monaghan and former Fire Chief Craig Goodrich chairs. Top 3 contributors are APDEA, Anchorage Firefighters, and AFSCME International of Washington, D.C.
This is Dr. Ellenberg. Are you tired of taking medications? Do your medications create more side effects than solutions? Do you want more than 15 minutes with your doctor? If you answer yes to those questions, you should consider calling the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine. At our center, we take the time to listen and focus on finding the cause of your health problems. Whether you have a cold, high blood pressure, diabetes, or cancer, we can help. Call the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine at 563-2366 or visit us online at drellenberg.com. We can help.
When I grew up, I wanted to be a pro basketball player, an elementary school teacher, an Olympic gymnast.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything from auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream. For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Why is A&A The Shop Alaska's independent Subaru specialist? How is it they've been voted the best shop in Anchorage not once but 6 times? Well, it's pretty simple. They offer the best warranty in the business. If they work on your Subaru, you're going to get a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on both parts and labor. That's unheard of. A&A The Shop deals exclusively with Subarus, and they also offer $35 oil changes. All their technicians are ASE certified. Call A&A The Shop for an appointment. 562-3919 in Anchorage and 696-2096 in Eagle River.
Glen Biegel, you have beautiful teeth.
Why, thank you, Dan Fagan. That's because my family and I have gone to Dr. Dan Kiley for years.
I get scared at the dentist.
Dr. Kiley knows people like you are afraid, so he creates a relaxed atmosphere at his office. People actually like going to the dentist for Dr. Kiley.
I know it's important to have good dental health.
And you look better with good teeth. And Dr. Kiley offers cosmetic dentistry along with general care.
Visit Dr. Dan Kiley at lakeotisdental.com. Call him at 562-9209.
Hot Talk KOAN, man.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel.
1080 KOAN.
6:35 in the morning on Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie on KOAN, KVNT. So glad you're here. Power outage knocked out our FM signal yesterday in Anchorage and other signals in town, but we're back on good to go. Our number 569-1080. 569-1080. I want to give you some more numbers, but I want to get Glen more time on get his reaction on that clip.
Well, I'm a huge the clip. Oh, we're gonna play it again.
Well, no, let me take this call first.
Oh, yeah.
Then we'll get your reaction. 569-1080, 569-1080. Let's go to Joe. Joe, you're on.
Oh, thank you, Dan. Hello, Bonnie and Glenn.
Hi.
Morning.
Sorry for interrupting that clip.
No, you're fine. We got plenty of time to play the clip again.
Okay.
You heard it?
Of President Obama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't want to mess up things up here.
Well, basically what he said was, to Joe, I know you're kind of a left-wing guy. This is my paraphrase.
No, he's an independent.
Okay, nobody's a left-winger. I understand that. But here's basically what he said. He said, hey, I know these guys, they don't want me in their state because I lost their state, but don't worry. They're with me. They're supporting my agenda. I mean, that's basically what he's saying. Even though I'm not there.
No, he did say they are strong allies of mine. They are supporters of mine.
Right.
That's a
even
quote.
Though I'm not there, believe me, they're on my side. Yeah.
Well, he won 42% of the vote at the time.
Yeah. What do you think he'd get now?
Probably a little bit less because everybody's ticked off about Obamacare and the way he's handling the Ebola crisis and
immigration.
Immigration is like we talked about last winter, Glenn. The people from the underdeveloped countries of the world will infiltrate the developed countries of the world, like the United States, in overwhelming exodus numbers.
I heard that 34 million. He's looking at giving out 34 million green cards, work permits.
Well, I think that if there's 23 million illegal aliens here, there's 23 million illegal aliens that need to be deported. But the reason why I called, you still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Poppy.
Well, let's go back
sorry.
to this Begich-Sullivan race.
Let me give the numbers for those who just joined us. This is a public policy polling survey. Obama in Alaska has a 40% approval rating, 56 disapproval rating. Mark Begich has a 42% approval rating, 51% disapproval rating. For an incumbent senator to have a disapproval rating of 51%, in Sullivan's case, it's 44% favorable, 42% unfavorable.
I don't think Begich is going to be able to pull this one off. But the thing is, this is the main reason why I called. Senator Mark Begich is at a disadvantage here in Alaska when he cannot go after George W. Bush. He can't say that, well, for instance, Dan Sullivan was economic advisor and worked for the State Department in the Bush administration. But Begich can't make commercials saying that we just came back from a miraculous recovery from one of the worst recessions this nation has ever seen.
Hey, Joe, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Because I know what you're going to say, and I hope you don't take offense to this. Now, hear me out. Then I'll give you all the time you need.
Okay.
I honestly believe that if Barack Obama were president for 100 years, and he were in the 99th year of his presidency, you would hear left-wingers saying, if it wasn't for that George Bush recession.
Yeah. But
he's been gone for 6 years, Joe.
Alaska has attracted a lot of people from the South, the hardcore right-wing section of the Republican Party, the Bible Belt people. Our state didn't always
hate the Bible Belt
like
people.
this. So Mark Begich cannot bash Bush too hard here in Alaska because he'll lose
Bible
votes.
Belt people.
Yeah, Begich will lose votes by trying to go after George W. Bush.
You know why he'd lose votes by going after George Bush? Because he hadn't been president in 6 years.
Now, as an independent, Dan, I think Jimmy Carter and George W. Bush are the worst presidents in recent history.
Well, I agree on Carter.
Well, you're not going to agree with me on Bush because you are a worshiper. You worship leaders. I don't. I'm an independent, and they're not my friend.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't hang out with George Bush much anymore, but back when I was his friend. I love you, Joe. I just
Bible Belt.
That's
Really?
right.
But
Maybe
see,
in the 70s.
Let me ask you a question, Joe. What is it about the Bible Belt people that you dislike? Well, give me an issue you disagree with them on.
Because they like religious driven politics.
Give me an example.
Politics, where I like economic driven.
Give me an
politics.
example.
Well, the abortion show that you used to have.
Now, so how is religion?
I watched you and Elizabeth every day.
Yeah.
And I liked it because I like getting a perspective.
You are our viewer. That's good to know.
Yeah, I called one time.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
now, wait a minute, Joe. Hold on. How is abortion a religious issue?
Because that's what you use to bolster your argument is your religion.
Life?
No, I look at an ultrasound and I see a baby with his or her beating hearts and little hands and own DNA. That has nothing to do with God. The baby's alive. It's obviously by the ultrasound. How's that a religious issue?
That's only one thing, though, that I'm talking about.
I know, but I want to know a religious issue that the Bible Belt people you disagree with.
Well, you might as well put we hate unions in the Bible, too.
Oh.
Because that's what you guys all talk about.
Yeah, the
and,
fifth Ecclesiastes does cover the public union.
Wrap your religion around it. It'll work.
That's funny that you say the Bible Belt people have moved up here, because I would say the tree-hugging Northwesterners have moved up here.
No, you see, Bonnie, it's the oil patch people from the South that are...
I thought none of those people did move up here. They all just work here and then they go back home.
Texas, Missouri, the inbred states.
Ooh. Oh.
Well, they have.
That is just showing your colors.
Alaska's an inbred state because of that.
Now we're one too?
Oh my.
So inbred meaning you have sex with your relatives? Is that what inbred means?
That's what the culture of the South,
and that's
how I've been taught anyway.
You've never lived in the South?
No.
Because I'm from the South, and I've never had sexual relations with anyone I'm related to.
But there is that Southern culture that people like to joke about up here.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's not funny.
Not only have I never had sexual relations with anyone I've been related to, I've never known anyone to have sexual relations with anyone they've been related to, and I've
heard many people say that Texas is an inbred state.
Yeah, I lived in Texas.
Don't believe everything you hear.
I lived in three different
places.
places.
It was a small state.
Yeah.
But see, Mark Begich has a big disadvantage where Sullivan could bash the hell out of Obama.
Right.
And people just love it.
And Begich can't bash that guy who had president 6 years ago.
No, it just won't work because he'll lose a lot more
Plus,
votes.
he was president 6 years ago. There's that too.
That's true,
yeah.
And the thing is, like I said, Senator Begich has a big disadvantage compared to Dan Sullivan when it comes to using the politicians of the past.
That's Independent Joe. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate your phone call. 644 Fagan Biegel Bonnie.
That was hilarious.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
The flu, pneumonia, whooping cough, hepatitis A, shingles, meningitis, tetanus. That's a scary list. But did you know immunizations can protect you from every one? You didn't? Well, we do. Rite Aid pharmacists are certified to immunize against the most common preventable diseases. Find out what immunizations you need with a free immunization evaluation at Rite Aid today. With us, it's personal. Availability and age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
There's a lot of so-called experts out there claiming to have the key to success in business for a price. Are you ready for real business advice you can trust without a fee? Then don't miss Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Advice from people in the know. Technology, finance, taxes, and more. Business people helping business people take their skills and services to the next level. Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on Hot Talk, KOAN, 95.1 FM and 1080 a.m.
The traffic jam. A stifling halt to your thrilling drive. But in a redesigned 2015 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, that interruption is at least tolerable. With the most luxurious interior in its class and an innovative touchpad, the all-new 2015 C-Class is as exciting to experience standing still as it is in motion. And with its improved acceleration power, your state of comfort continues, knowing you'll make it to your destination on time. To your authorized dealer and see the world differently in a C-Class from Mercedes-Benz. Lease the 2015 C300 4MATIC sedan for $439 a month for 36 months with $4,733 due at signing.
Available only to qualified customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through October 31st, 2014. Call 1-800-FL1-MERCEDES for offer details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
Gabe, your 2 minutes are up. Herman, your 2 minutes are up. Your 2 minutes is up.
This is Harry Crawford, and those were the actual words of Kathy Giesel during public testimony. I believe a legislator's first and most important job is to listen to you. As I go door to door, I'm hearing you say you want intelligent, realistic budgets, not the deficit budgets this legislature has passed time and time again. Now, Kathy Giesel wants to fix the permanent fund. Me, I want to set your permanent fund dividend in stone by putting it in the Alaska Constitution.
Harry Crawford's plan to constitutionalize a permanent fund will keep politicians' hands off your dividend. Harry voted against 7 capital budgets because they didn't balance. Harry Crawford sponsored the Red Stripe law that keeps problem drinkers from buying alcohol. And Harry Crawford spearheaded the Trust the People initiative to let you elect your own U.S. senators.
Trust the people. Those are words I live by. This is Harry Crawford, and I would appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Crawford for Alaska, Anchorage.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN.
Or nothing.
Best split.
Well, here it is, a Tuesday morning, the 21st of October. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. I want to give our number, by the way, 569-1080. 569-1080. We're on KOAN and KVNT. I want to give Glenn a chance to respond to this clip because we ran out of time in the last segment. And just before we play it, let you know these new numbers out. Public policy polling, 800 people. This is actually a Democratic pollster. Do you approve or disapprove of President Obama's job performance? This is Alaska residents. 40% approve. 56% of Alaskans disapprove of the president. Begich, 42% approve. Who are these people? 51% disapprove of Begich in his job he's done as a U.S. Senator. An incumbent U.S. Senator, 51% disapproval. I would bet Murkowski's is probably in the 70s. Approval, probably 30s disapproval, if not lower, because both sides like her. Dan Sullivan, favorable 44%, only 42% unfavorable. All the money and mud that's been thrown at this guy, buying a Senate race, they say, hates women, loves sexual offenders, and he's only got a 42% unfavorable. I'm telling you, it's over for Begich. But to me, this is the final nail in the coffin.
I
because
also spoke to him about
this
those
ad will begin
Democratic
airing soon.
politicians.
This is MSNBC, the president being interviewed by Al Sharpton.
I also spoke to him about those Democratic politicians who haven't embraced him on the campaign trail.
Well, look, here's the bottom line. We've got a tough map. A lot of the states that are contested this time are states that I didn't win. And so some of the candidates there, it is difficult for them to have me in the state because the Republicans will use that to try to fan Republican turnout. The bottom line is, though, these are all folks who vote with me. They have supported my agenda in Congress. They are on the right side of minimum wage. They are on the right side of fair pay. They are on the right side of rebuilding our infrastructure. They're on the right side of early childhood education. So, this isn't about my feelings being hurt. These are folks who are strong allies and supporters of me. And, I tell them, I said, you know what, you do what you need to win. I will be responsible for making sure that our voters turn.
Now, Glenn, when these ads start running, and you're going to have a picture of Obama up there, and Begich is going to have a shot of Begich and Obama sitting next to each other. And he says, bottom line is these are people who vote with me and support my agenda. You do what you got to do to win.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a more devastating ad. And this thing is going to, I guarantee you, the airways are going to be flooded with it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you two questions about this comment. One, what's the impact? Because Begich obviously has to distance himself from Obama. He's got a 56% disapproval rating, Obama does. And two, what does this say about our president? How could he not know this would hurt his Senate candidates?
Okay, on the impact, what determines campaigns at this point are your negatives largely, and then your trends. And Begich's problem from very early on was when he played that commercial about Dan Sullivan loves this rapist, let him out of jail,
devastating.
Went on to kill people. That froze the Begich campaign and all of their ads in their place.
Lost all credibility.
Well, people would hear what Begich would say with a very tinny ear.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, is this going to be another one of those?
Yes.
And you, for Democrats, you can't have the very first thing you think of is Begich telling me the truth,
right,
or not? Because if you start asking that question, the Democrats fail. So what?
Can I add one little caveat to that?
Yeah.
Plus, the war on women argument is so specious.
Yes.
So that eroded even more credibility.
It didn't even exist 2 years ago. 2 years ago, nobody wanted to buy your birth control. Everybody said you had to buy your own birth control. Now it's a war on women that just appeared 2 years ago, even though the Democrats, I guess, just figured it out then. So the real impact of this is it freezes Begich. I don't think it's going to drive his polls anywhere. Look, the 42% who support Mark Begich and the 40% who say they support the president, they're in this war, this ideological war, and they have a side. And their side is, for better or for worse, right or wrong, all's fair in love and war. And basically, they don't care who Mark Begich is. They just want to win the war. Whatever,
By the way,
whatever that means.
Undecided, Begich is undecided, 7%. That's it.
So he doesn't have a lot. He doesn't have a lot to go.
It's 50,
I just think
51 negative, 42 approved, 7%.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to win this. Joe, by the way, had a brilliant comment, and
Joe
that
Miller.
is Joe,
Joe's
the guy
caller.
who was just on, Joe the Independent. Is that what we're calling him?
Joe the leftist, a.k.a. Independent.
No, Joe the Independent. So anyway, Joe the Independent mentioned another impact, and that is whenever you've governed for a while, as this president has, all the promises, remember the columns that he had when he was giving his great speech?
The Greek columns.
Yeah, the Greek columns in Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all the columns are gone. All the realities are gone. The fact is we've lost more income. We're not getting jobs. We have the greatest number of people unemployed. I never heard about a jobs agenda, by the way, and all the things that are supposed to be being voted for, like early childhood education. If only we could get these kids away from their parents a little early.
Childhood indoctrination.
So back to these numbers.
Anyway, so the problem is that having a president who has been governing and governing poorly, it's hard to run there. So the impact of these ads that are coming up are going to be they're going to continue to freeze Begich. He's not going to be able to move because he needs space to be able to try and make his argument.
But the assertion that Obama's making is, hey, I don't care what Begich tells you, he's with me.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's saying.
It's devastating. It's devastating because Begich is trying desperately to say anything else other than that. Look, I'm not his guy. I'm a thorn in his side.
Right.
Right? And he can't make the argument. He can't make the argument which is going to get him more votes.
Yeah, but Obama's telling him to do that. Go ahead. Say that. Say that.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
But back to my point, and Bonnie, maybe you can address this. What does this say about our president? He just said publicly, hey, all these guys who say they're not with me, they really are. What does that say about this guy?
He knows it. He's honest. He's so narcissistic.
But he just exposed all these senators.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, it's a
I
very
think
foolish
that he
thing
is
to say.
so selfish and
Political.
so self-righteous that he knows they're with him, and he doesn't care who knows. He's mad. What's going on in here is he's mad that they're not embracing him the way Al Sharpton put it. They're not embracing him, and he's mad about it.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah.
They are with him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they
He
voted
outed
with
them.
me. They supported me. They're strong allies of mine. They're supporters of
He
mine.
even used the word agenda.
Yeah.
They support my agenda.
But don't think he's not going to get them back for this. Because come time Mark Begich says, if he gets elected, come time he says, hey, what about Alaska? Let's get this, whatever opened up. Obama will say, you didn't support me. I'm not doing anything for you. You tried to distance yourself from me. So I don't think he'll be elected, but
I just think it's so amazing that the President of the United States has these poor U.S. Senate incumbents fighting for their lives, and he outs them. He says, you know what? Don't listen to them. They're not against me. They're wrong. They're with me. Trust me on this. I mean, are you kidding me?
he cares more about how he
devastating.
looks than how the country,
It really is.
how these senators look.
You talk about throw somebody under the bus.
But here's the great thing, because Al Sharpton, true believer,
Oh.
right? True left-winger.
Hard
This guy is.
He can't believe they're not
us versus
embracing
them.
him.
Well, but what's so great about it is when you have somebody who is from the left, and you know they're from the left, and that's really where he lives and everything about him, he's going to ask honest questions. The value of that question, because finally, for one time in the whole freaking thing that we're going through this huge election, we haven't heard one spot of honesty. This is the most honest, revealing comment you will hear this election cycle.
This is why I would submit to both of you that the number one detriment to Sarah Palin's image when she was governor was Bob and Mark, because she would feel so comfortable, and they were so her worshipers. And when they went on there and joked about Lyda Green having cancer, and she laughed about it, and it's the same thing with Sharpton and Obama. When you were being interviewed by a friendly foe or somebody friendly to your cause, you relax, you say what you want to say, your guard's down. And that's what happened to Obama here. It used to happen with Sarah Palin all the time on Bob and Mark. That's what happened here. He thought, hey, I'm just talking to my left-wing friends here. Hey, these guys, don't worry, they're really with me. But in today's world, every clip is scrutinized. There's no only MSNBC.
We're desperate for honesty from this president. We have heard honesty from this president, and I agree with you. This will change the election.
569-1080. 569-1080. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Governor's coming up today, by the way. 6:58. Biegel and Bonnie. Governor's coming up today, by the way. 6:58.
When you've got the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor. Call us right away. 24/7. It's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at SicilysPizza.com. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
Hot Talk.
AM, KOAN, Anchorage.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. There's fear the Ebola outbreak will get a lot worse in Africa in a few months, so health officials are pinning their hopes on vaccines. Fox News Radio's Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Dave, tens of thousands of people in West Africa could receive experimental vaccines starting in January, according to the World Health Organization, if smaller trials underway now go to plan.
What we're doing now is working to accelerate the clinical trials of these vaccines.
The WHO's Dr. Marie Paolacchini saying 2 potential vaccines are being tested, one here in the UK and in Mali, the other at a research institute in Maryland. The Ebola outbreak has already killed 4,500 people, Dave.
Simon, the mother of Amber Vincent, says she's doing well in treatment in Atlanta. Vincent's the second nurse infected with Ebola by the African man who brought the virus to Dallas, then died. A British man's coming to America to face charges after fighting extradition for 9 years. Harun Aswad is accused of trying to set up a terrorist training camp in Oregon. Hackers may have gone shopping for credit cards at yet another retail store. Fox News Radio's Evan Brown's on the case live.
Staples, Dave. Yeah, the hackers got that. The office supply retailer is looking into what they call a potential credit card data breach. Law enforcement is involved with that investigation. A spokesman for the Massachusetts-based company says they're tracking the data taking the data breach very seriously, and that customers won't be responsible for any fraudulent use of their credit accounts, provided they report it as soon as they can. Earlier this month, hackers struck data at Kmart stores, Dave.
Now, Evan, more Americans are packing and moving. The National Association of Realtors reports previously owned home sales rose more than 2% last month to the fastest pace of the year. On Wall Street, stocks continue to rebound. The Dow is up 94 points. The Nasdaq's gaining 68. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. And while many don't know it, there's one path to success that still only requires a dream and about $10. That's right. If your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. And today at Vistaprint.com, you can get 500 full-color business cards for only $9.99. That's right, only $9.99. Just go to Vistaprint.com and enter promo code 1818 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 1818.
If you're looking for exhilaration, you found it. Whether cruising the road with a KOAN AM Spyder, pounding trails with KOAN AM ATVs and side-by-sides, or carving snow with Ski-Doo sleds, these machines are engineered to thrill and perform. During the Yellow Tag event, save up to $4,000 on select models, plus get up to a 4-year extended warranty and great financing. Visit employee-owned Alaska Mining and Diving Supply in Anchorage. Offer ends October 31st. Restrictions apply. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for details. For safety and training info, contact the ATV Safety Institute.
Trail Boss Solutions is your local award-winning, nationally recognized construction and remodel firm. From handyman services to kitchen design and remodel to custom home construction, Trail Boss Solutions has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion, on time and on budget. Trail Boss Solutions is the only call for all your construction, design, and remodel needs. Please visit us on the web at trailboss-solutions.com or contact Trail Boss Solutions Direct at 646-1403.
Paid for by More for Alaska, Anchorage.
Taking pride in work when it comes from the heart. Doing your best and staying the course even in tough times. There are Alaskans who still understand the value of service and sacrifice. Matt Moore is one of those. Someone who knows that paying your dues should come before office and power. That leadership, wielded by inexperienced and self-interested hands, can be destructive.
This is Matt Moore. Lance Pruitt is proud of his record. A record of not fully funding education, budget deficits that put our permanent fund at risk, and supporting mega projects we can't afford. My father once told me, whatever you choose to do, do it well. That's the way our country was, the way I'd like to see it be again, where pride in work comes from actually doing an honorable job, because that's the way it ought to be.
Matt Moore, a legislator we can be proud of.
All my life, I've enjoyed hunting and fishing, but as I got older, it made it harder to enjoy the Alaskan outdoors. Thanks to Chugach Chiropractic, I'm back on the stream enjoying Alaska.
Besides aligning the spine, we also deal with the musculature and the nervous system of the body. To do that, we not only adjust the spine, but we also balance muscles along with various therapies and deep tissue therapy. We help bring the body back to normal function.
When Malarkey Mark Begich ran for U.S. Senator, he made a lot of claims about his record as Anchorage mayor. Begich knew the truth wouldn't come to light before the election. But now, history is caught up with Malarkey Mark. Under Begich, Anchorage taxes went up 27%. Under Begich, the city budget ballooned, a $142 million increase in spending. Under Begich, the city was saddled with unprecedented 5-year union contracts. Under Begich, a deficit of over $20 million was left for the next mayor to deal with. Begich left Anchorage in serious trouble. Alaska's Energy, America's Values paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
Hot Talk KOAN. You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give them a call. 569 KOAN.
Oh, that's pretty. Gosh, doesn't that make you want to be on a... Speaking of a cigar, sitting on the beach, smoking a cigar, watching the sun go down.
I don't know about the cigar part.
Oh, no, I can't.
Having a cheeseburger.
I know,
Maybe a glass of wine.
and my mother will be glad to hear this, my most faithful listener. I don't smoke cigars much anymore at all, hardly at all. And the last one I had was here in the studio with Dave Stern, which I think was probably illegal, but I used to smoke them a lot, especially on the golf course, but I just don't smoke them much anymore. I don't know. You don't want to do anything that cancer's so devastating. It's such a horrid thing in our society, and you don't ever want to do anything that will increase your risk. I know with cigars are not nearly as bad as cigarettes in that you don't inhale, but you can get like throat and mouth cancer.
See, I'm glad you guys told me that, like the second puff into it.
Oh yeah, we had Bonnie was in here with in here, and
don't inhale, by the way.
She smoked a cigar with us. That was, by the way, and don't take offense at this, not a good look for you.
No, it was awful. Please don't go back and ever look at that.
So you convinced her to smoke a cigar, and then
it didn't take much convincing.
Well, no, Stern brought a couple in, and Brian didn't smoke one either. You didn't smoke one, huh? Did we get that on tape?
I think that was before we were videoing.
No, it's on there.
Oh, it is?
Was
yes,
it? Oh,
it is.
I remember taking some pictures. I put up a picture on Facebook, and that was pretty popular.
Can we delete it, please?
I want a slow-mo Bonnie right up there on the wall, played over and over and over again.
Pretty bad.
Stern, I think, is a really funny guy. He was something he had on his Facebook the other day. This women's summit.
Oh, gosh.
I know. And Stern said, what is that, a book club?
He got so many haters over that. Oh, my
goodness. I love that.
Well, that's good because somebody's got to stand up for men here. What happened to men? Men's rights.
I went and looked at that thing. I was gonna go to it, the women's summit. I thought, I should go to that.
I was a Liesl McGuire thing.
But it just looked like a man-hating conference to me, and I don't like those.
Well,
I don't know how it went.
By the way, where's the line between let's celebrate just women and let's hate men?
Yeah.
I honestly don't think there's a line there, because if you went and said, we're just going to celebrate men here,
yeah,
I don't see how that would be anything other than a negative women's summit.
As positive as women try to be, when you get a bunch of them together and it's called a women's summit, there's going to be some man bashing. I don't know how it went. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear from somebody, but I don't know. Some of the topics looked like man-hating topics.
Like, what was the topic?
Well, it's all, empower women, and I don't know. Why set apart? It's, we all want to get together, get along here, and I just don't like it when things are set apart. And it's good to, yeah.
Well, don't you think the left is the greatest force in trying to draw a wedge between men and women? The war on women, equal pay, all this stuff.
Yeah, they want all this equality, but then women are superior? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
You're a woman hater.
I am. I hate women.
I love women.
Some honesty.
I love women.
Women don't like each other.
Yeah?
I have female friends who don't like other females.
Well, but see, Bonnie's got a real good sense of this, in that when you have a women's conference, there's something innately wrong with that, because you really are highlighting one sex against the other. There's no way not
Why
to
does it
have
have to be us against them?
There's no way not to have that because
Why?
there's no
We're
men's
different.
summit.
We're different.
There's
and
no men's summit.
There's some things that women do that men don't, and there's some things that men can do that women can't. And that's just all there is to it. Women have their strengths. Men have their strengths. I respect men's strengths.
But why does a women's summit have to demonize men? Why can't they just focus on their strengths?
I wish they would. Maybe I'd attend if they would do that. I mean, I've gone to ladies' retreats with my church, and that's what it is. It's about women and their strengths and how God made us.
Well, how do you know this women's summit wasn't about that?
Because I saw some of the topics that were going to be discussed.
Example.
I don't remember. I just remember going to the website and I saw some of the topics and I was like,
Yeah.
What was it called? The Alaska Women's Summit?
Yes.
And I have an Alaska Man's Summit.
Yeah.
At a bar.
Can you imagine the backlash of that? How dare they? A men's summit.
How dare they? I don't
think
get
they
it. This STEM trying to push women into science, technology, engineering, and math.
There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Well, if they don't want to go into it, why push them? I guess I don't understand that. Now we got 60% of all degrees are given to women.
Here's
40% to men.
Here's some of the topics. Closing the gap. Businesses working towards gender equality. The impact of the rising cost of childcare on the workforce and the economy. Women in transition, creating pathways for healing from domestic violence to housing opportunities and strong communities in rural and urban Alaska. Filling the female leadership pipeline. Why we need women at the table.
Women earn it, and then you'll get there.
Wow. Lisa Murkowski was the speaker. She's a woman.
Maybe that's
First
why
Lady,
I didn't go.
Sandy Parnell.
Shannon Rudsill, Director of the Office of Child Care of the U.S. government. Gail Evans, former CNN executive and best-selling author. She was going to speak about why women must ask and tips for effective negotiations.
And getting a raise, I think that's what it was. Because that is one statistic that does bother me, that men go and ask for raises a lot more often than women.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know that.
I was about to say something really sexist.
Well, go ahead and say it. You can say it if you're a woman.
You don't have to. I mean,
she's a woman. She's allowed to say anti-women things.
A lot of times we speak before thinking. She may not have heard that before, but I did read.
Remember what I was going to say.
I did read a statistic that a lot fewer women. They just figure, and this came up at some summit a while ago. A man was actually talking at a women's summit, and his point was, look, women, you just need to accept that, people are going to take care of you, and you don't need to ask for a raise. Just expect that the system's going to treat you well. But that's just not the case. You have to go out and ask for a raise.
What would you say?
Well, I don't know. My husband feels, he's the breadwinner of the family, and he feels a lot of pressure to provide for our family.
Okay.
And so, I know there's a lot of single moms out there who are the sole breadwinners for their families, and there's women who are the sole breadwinners for their families. But I think that it's innate in men to feel the pressure of that.
My thing on raises, and I've successfully negotiated for higher raises, but what I think people are just so misunderstanding when it comes to money and raises. It's got to be about leverage. It can't be, I need this. Look, I've got to have this, or I have these needs. You must give me a raise. You've got to somehow make yourself so valuable to your employer that when you say, look, if I don't have this, I'm going to do this, and they're going to have to say, well, okay, I got no choice. I remember at Channel 2, we had our weakest reporting staff ever. We had lost 3 major reporters, and we had gals there. We had a couple of gals who were like literally 13 years old. I got a job offer that I did not want, but I would take it if they gave it to me. And I went to John Tracy, said I got to go, and he gave it to me instantly.
Yep.
But I waited till the staff was at its weakest point.
Smart.
You struck while they were on their back.
7:14, Fagan Biegel Bonnie.
Smart.
You struck while they were on their back.
7:14, Fagan Biegel Bonnie.
Don't just sit there. Give them. morning on the talk.com. 92.5 FM, 1020 AM.
Fun, treats, activities, and more at Trick or Treat Street in downtown Anchorage on Saturday, October 25th from noon to 4 p.m. Anchorage Downtown Partnership is hosting a free event where kids of all ages are invited to come downtown to trick or treat for candy at participating merchants in a fun and safe environment along 4th and 5th Avenue from C to L Street. Fun and spectacular activities from years past are back this year, including the Skinny Raven Frightening 4K Run and Costume Contest, Haunted Visit Anchorage Log Cabin, Cookie Decorating at the Hotel Captain Cook, Anchorage Fire Department Haunted Fire Truck, face painting, balloon giveaways, and so much more. A map for participating businesses and locations for fun-filled activities can be found in the Anchorage Press. Visit downtownanchorage.org for more information, to see more activities of the day, and learn about free parking for the event. Have a safe and fun Halloween at Trick or Treat Street, brought to you by Anchorage Downtown Partnership, Odom Corporation, Dooley's Tuxedo and Costume, Skinny Raven Sports, Visit Anchorage, Easy Park, Hotel Captain Cook, Anchorage Press, Halloween Express, and Alaska Integrated Media.
In Washington, Mark Begich has voted with Barack Obama 97% of the time, adding trillions to the national debt, casting the deciding vote for Obamacare, and protecting Obama's executive amnesty for illegal immigrants. Alaska needs a senator who will fight back against Obama's agenda. As our Attorney General, Dan Sullivan sued to stop Obamacare and defended our Second Amendment rights. As Alaska's DNR Commissioner, Sullivan stood down Obama's EPA, unleashed new energy production, and created Alaskan jobs. Now Sullivan is running for the U.S. Senate to stop the Washington big spenders from bankrupting America. Sullivan will cut wasteful spending and support a balanced budget amendment. And Dan Sullivan is pro-life. He'll protect life while fighting to repeal Obamacare. Dan Sullivan, strong leadership for Alaska.
I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sullivan for U.S. Senate.
Well, howdy, I'm Nick Worthington for 4x4 Headquarters, Worthington Ford.
Home of over 1,000 vehicles and 700 4x4s.
Head in today and we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. 3 times your PFD, plus pick any vehicle, and you can make no payments until next year. Take a look.
Here's a Ford Explorer for just $89.50 and a Ford Expedition for $99.50.
Here's a Chevy 2500, only $99.50. And here's a Toyota Camry, just $13.9.
Remember, we've got over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, and winter is coming. Get a 4x4 for those icy roads ahead. And the best place for that is 4x4 Headquarters.
And we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. And folks, don't forget your trade-in. We need your trade-in.
Push, pull, or drag it in, and you'll get top dollar.
Now's the time. Head into Giant Worthington Ford on Gamble.
03 2500 Q1587A, 08 Expedition Q1688, 2012 Camry Q1491, 07 Explorer Q1111. Unapproved credit subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Ends 10/23/2014.
Every day, the state of Alaska spends around $7 million that it doesn't have. Alaska is in the red, spending $2 billion a year from our savings. Sean Parnell has used up 30% of the state savings account, and he has no plan to put the state back in the black. Remember Dan Sullivan's $10 million tennis courts? Parnell funded that when the state was broke. Sean Parnell talks about being fiscally conservative, but the state of Alaska has gone from surplus to debtor while he's been governor. That's a fact. And Dan Sullivan is talking about using your PFD to pay for government. Sullivan said using the permanent fund for government was a beautiful thing. Really. It's time for a change.
Paid for by Alaskans for Walker Malott. This notice to voters is required by Alaska law. We certify that this ad is not authorized, paid for.
What is that? I think he just gave me an electrical shock for my headphones. I really don't know what that noise was.
It's like one of those Sunday morning talk shows where they, have the panel.
Hello.
Well, you guys hear it, but they don't on the air. But I flip between the stations, so you're hearing something else.
Oh, so what I'm hearing right now, what is that?
Right now we're on the air, but when I'm coming back, I'll flip between a couple different.
This sounds like a John Williams theme
Back
song.
to the Future theme song.
Okay, there you
It's
go.
our bumper music.
I feel like I want some popcorn.
Let's get some. We got some Pop-Tarts.
Oh, my goodness.
88 miles an hour.
569-1080. It's Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. on KOAN, KVNT. We're glad you're here. Country Financial, they have 13 locations in Alaska, very heavy presence here in the state. And Mike Daniels and his team, they are fully equipped to put you on a path that will allow you to have a successful and worry-free retirement. They'll ask you the right questions. They're going to make sure you have enough insurance. You know, being underinsured is frankly a disaster potential. You spend your whole life building your nest egg, and then all of a sudden something bad happens, and then you realize, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? That's all my insurance covers? And it's a tragedy, but it's not necessary. It's something you can avoid. And this is just one of the many things that the folks at Country Financial, Mike Daniels, can do for you when it comes to financial matters. That's their expertise. They're very good at it. Give them a call, 866-COUNTRY, 866-COUNTRY, Country Financial, 866-COUNTRY, country spelled
COUNTRY. Next time I'm going to ask Glenn.
I'm going to misspell it.
And Beagle spelled.
I was talking to an insider in Governor Parnell's office yesterday, and I said, so you been checking the one ads? How's the morale over there? And I was told that there's some real concern.
Yeah.
There's some real concern. And we were talking about this public policy polling, and they've also did a poll in the governor's race, which do you approve or disapprove of Governor Sean Parnell's performance? 42% say, yeah, they think he's doing a good job. 46% say no. Now, compare that to Begich, who has a 51% disapproval. He's not nearly in as much trouble as Begich is. Only 12% are unsure about the governor. That's the thing that's amazing to me. And I think this is a real indictment of the governor's campaign people. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Bill Walker? 40% say they like him. That's 2% less than Parnell. But here's the big number. Unfavorable? What do you think? Take a guess, Glenn.
28.
Bonnie?
No idea.
23.
Okay.
23% unfavorable. Now, here's the huge number. Not sure, 37% of Bill Walker. So there's a lot of room, but they got to get after it.
It's getting a little late in the game. People already started voting yesterday.
The Parnell people have to get after it. Here's a perfect example. On education issues, Parnell attacked Walker for telling the Great Alaska Schools Group that Walker supported raising the base student allocation and inflation-proofing education funding, while also telling a radio show, Walker host, earlier last month that the budget needed to be cut 16% across the board. Would Walker slash spending or increase funding? Which Will Walker is being truthful? So he tells the Great Alaska Schools he's going to increase the base student allocation, but then he tells a conservative talk show host he's going to cut education spending 16%.
He's the perfect liberal.
Well, but here's the thing. If Alice Rogoff and her pro-unity ticket team over at the Alaska Dispatch News would call Walker on that, that would cost him 10% in the polls, but they'll never call him on that. So it's up to the governor. Now, this is why the media is not as powerful as you think. If the media drove the narrative in the Begich-Sullivan polls, Begich would have a disapproval rating in the low 40s to high 30s. But fortunately, that's the beauty of campaigns. His opponent can point out his flaws, because the media won't. Well, I don't think the Parnell team's doing a very good job at all.
Or Obama can point out Begich's flaws, because Obama's just come out and said, hey, he's my boy.
But my point is, I don't think Parnell is doing a very good job at all of pointing out Bill Walker's double-tongued. He's literally saying different things to different groups all the time, never called on it.
Yeah, or changing his position from what he traditionally would have believed on 4 or 5 key core issues.
And while you've got, I don't know, we're probably up to about 50 stories in the Alaska Dispatch now on the National Guard story, not one on Walker's inconsistencies. And so you look at it, what, you only got a 23% unfavorable? Well, of course. No one's touching him. But where's the Parnell team?
Yeah, I want to hear less about, the 16,000 jobs that Parnell's created and more about Walker's flip-flopping. That would be smart. That, for me as a listener, I would get more out of that than hearing about, there comes a point when you don't have to necessarily be nasty, but get the truth out about your opponent.
Now, here's the good news. I gave you question 6 in the poll, which is Parnell has a 42% approval, 46% unapproval or disapproval, 12% not sure. Walker, 40% approval, 23% unfavorable, 37% unsure. So people have not made up their mind on Walker. I've been told by experts like Dittman and Larkin in the past that anytime it's that close, the undecideds typically go away from the incumbent because they've already made up their mind about it.
What percentage, though?
Yeah, I don't know. Here's question 8. The candidates for governor this fall are Republican Sean Parnell, non-affiliated Bill Walker, Libertarian Carolyn Clift, who Bonnie's voting for, and the Alaska Constitution Party, J.R. Myers. If the election were today, who would you vote for? 13% undecided. That's not much.
Huh.
J.R. Myers gets 2%. With Bonnie's vote, Carolyn Clift gets 3%.
She gets that much, really?
Bill Walker, 42%. Sean Parnell, 41%. So it's neck and neck. Now here's another question. Combined horse race with third-party supporters asked if they lean Parnell or Walker. Parnell 41, Walker 45. So you take out the fringe candidates, Walker picks up a couple of points.
I don't know that you should pull out the fringe candidates.
No, I don't think you can.
But here's what I think I'm hearing in the poll, right? Because we had Walker at 42, and his likability was 40. Parnell at 41, likability of 42. I mean, they're really close to the decideds. I mean, the people who know who they're going to vote for. The likability rating is really what's driving that poll.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point.
And how much is this poll going to matter? Because weren't they pretty off for
the public
primary?
policy polling can be off by 7 to 12 points. I mean, it's really hard to believe them.
That's the good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a left-wing organization.
Right. But so the only bias, though, that I would have found here is, well, I don't know. I guess sometimes you can have bias in a poll because of the arrangement of the questions. Like if you say, let's front-load this with 3 National Guard questions. Do you like the performance of Governor Sean Parnell?
Right.
As it relates to the...
Yeah, well, no. I'm just saying. And then after that, you say, do you approve of Governor Sean Parnell after you ask 3 unrelated National Guard questions?
Right.
And of course, that's going to drive down the number because people want to be consistent.
Well, this is all I read you all the questions. I've got them all here. There's no front-loaded questions.
Okay, well, and that's why when I listen to the poll, I kind of think, this is it's probably a pretty accurate reflection. So the only bias that could come in here is if instead of getting 15% Democrats, you got 30% Democrats because there's only 15% registered Democrats in the state.
I'll tell you, this governor's race is going to go neck and neck. Do you agree?
I think both. I think all of them will.
Oh, no,
actually.
No, Sullivan's going to smoke them.
Well, yeah, hopefully after this thing comes out with Obama.
52%. Mark Begich, incumbent U.S. Senator, 52%.
Disapproval.
And Obama's saying, you can try to get away from me, but you're all for my agenda.
What Obama has literally said on MSNBC last night, literally, hey, I'm not going to campaign for these guys, but let me tell you, they're with me.
Yep, they vote with me. They supported me. They're strong allies of mine. These are quotes from Obama.
Literally, he said agenda.
Yeah.
I mean,
he said agenda.
Wow.
This is a beautiful song. I love this song. This is Elvis,
Is it?
He's not alive. He's not dead.
Isn't he?
No, Elvis is alive. He's not in the building.
Where
but
is
he's
he
alive.
living?
Bermuda. That's what my sources
the triangle.
tell me. That's what he told me. 729. That's what my sources
triangle.
tell me. That's what he told me. 7.
The best or nothing.
From the Fox Business Network, stocks are trading higher despite some earnings disappointment from Dow Components, Coca-Cola, and McDonald's. At around 11 a.m. Eastern, the Dow Industrials were up 95 points. Shares of Apple are rallying after the tech giant reported its fourth quarter profit rose 13% over last year, driven by sales of its newest iPhones. But shares of Chipotle Mexican Grill are tumbling after the Mexican food chain warned sales growth next year may slow down. You understand? Look at that. Look. That is patience. The company earned $4.50. Look at you. What is doing? Told him to go home. What is he doing with? Well, look at. She gonna pass him up. Signaling slow but steady improvement in the existing.
You knock me off of my feet now, baby.
Sex marriages are back on in this state, as we hear from Ann Kenda.
Calling it their own fairy tale, Courtney Lamb and Stephanie Pearson married in a 4-minute ceremony at the Midtown Anchorage Frontier Building on Monday, after a week of legal drama. The state is still seeking a review from an appeals court, but gay marriage supporters have declared victory.
The first measurable snow has made an appearance in Anchorage. 0.6 inches recorded Sunday, making October 19th the date of the first official snowfall of the year, although there were some light dustings previously. That's your Hot Talk News update. Local weather is next.
Partly sunny skies for today, high 39. Mostly clear and chilly tonight, low 21. For tomorrow, sunny skies, high 38. Tomorrow night, low 21. Thursday, sunshine and clouds for a high 35. Friday, clouds and sun, high 34. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
My name is Billy Yelvington, and I love being a firefighter.
2 years ago, while fighting a fire, the roof collapsed while Billy was underneath.
I didn't think I was going home.
Captain Mike Hermes and engineer Kevin Woolsey made up the rest of the crew that day.
With the snow load and everything else, they figured that section of the roof was about 6,000 pounds.
Captain Hermes calls a mayday. A firefighter is down.
I says, I got to stay with Billy. And I remember he said 4 words to me. He says, go. I got this. When they finally got him out, I still had that same feeling that he's probably not going to make it.
Billy did make it. But under AO-37, firefighters' voices are silenced on staffing and equipment needs. AO-37 makes a dangerous job more dangerous.
I'm convinced one less firefighter there that day, Billy wanted to bait her.
Vote no on one to keep politics out of public safety. This message is paid for by Repeal 37 and approved by former Police Chief Walt Monaghan and former Fire Chief Craig Goodrich chairs. Top 3 contributors are APDEA, Anchorage Firefighters, and AFSCME International of Washington, D.C.
When I grow up, I want to be a pro basketball player. An elementary school teacher.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, Country Financial helps you and your family grow your own way.
Or maybe a veterinarian. A mom, a doctor, and president of the United States. Maybe an astronaut or, an Olympic gymnast.
You can grow your own way. We know some dreams take a little longer to achieve, which is why your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything. From auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream.
Or maybe an accountant, like my dad.
For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Do you remember that Beatles song? If the rain comes, they'll... Call Earhart Roof. Flat or pitched, large or small, Earhart Roofing will do the job quickly, and they'll do it right. Earhart Roofing, big enough to serve you and still small enough to care. Call 345-5555. That's 345-5555.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
$7:35 in the morning. 569-1080. 569-1080.
I call it roofing ballet. They hate it when I call it that, but I can't describe it any other way. If you've ever watched Earhart Roofing and their team work, you know that it's choreographed. The efficiency of it is just unmatched. An amazing group of people, great at what they do, the latest in technology, and they can roof any building. If you have a business, you got a commercial organization, or just your house, they can take care of anything with the latest technology, really fast and efficient. Almost always the lowest bidder, but here's what I hope that they've earned from you, and that is an opportunity to bid on your project. Give them a call, 345-5555. Their name, Earhart Roofing, Better Business Bureau Business of the Year for 2010, an amazing accomplishment. Give them a call, 345-5555.
The governor of our state is coming up. He's going to be on the broadcast here shortly. The question that I want to ask him, of course, is the story that we broke here yesterday, that Alice Rogoff, publisher of the Anchorage or the Alaska Dispatch News, was present and involved in at least one of the meetings in which the unity ticket was formed. I've tried to contact Ms. Rogoff to get her reaction to this, and she has yet to return my emails. I couldn't get her by phone. Their phones were out yesterday.
You were
At
blocked.
the Alaska Dispatch.
They blocked your number.
But this is something we believe here needs to answer.
I've got it.
Two confirmed sources that said that she was present at the meeting, and as was Margie Johnson, who is also kind of her right-hand woman over there at the Dispatch. And the fact that the Alaska Dispatch, I think, has now done probably 50 stories on the National Guard story, either in form of column or script or article. And the fact that Bill Walker can say one thing to one group, that he's going to cut education spending by 16%, and then he can tell another group, the Great Alaska School group, that he's going to raise the base student allocation and inflation-proofing education funding and not called on it.
Well, frankly, they have people on their staff, too, who are essentially dedicated to the task of removing Parnell from office, Dermot Cole being Exhibit A, B, and C. And there are actually other reporters who've gone on to write opinion pieces. These are people paid by Alice to put pieces in her paper, and I don't understand how that's not an in-kind campaign contribution. It is. That's what it is.
Dermot Cole, they use him as kind of a hybrid journalist commentator, which I guess in today's world there's no such thing as a journalist anymore, I guess. But Dermot Cole, Glenn, you so eloquently pointed it out when he wrote that column about how that he guarantees that the Walker-Malott ticket will be different than any other one.
This will be the different lieutenant governor.
For the first time in Alaska history, a lieutenant governor will actually have a bunch of power. Totally just making it up.
Yeah.
No evidence, no proof.
Well, it was against the Constitution. What I do wonder now is, did he have proof? And I really want to know what the proof is, because I've heard the Democrats were offered cabinet-level positions in order to drop their gubernatorial.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah. And I don't.
Where'd you hear that from?
I heard.
Source?
Yeah, I got a source.
Somebody who's on the inside, or are they just somebody who's just assuming?
Just somebody. I don't know that it's on the inside. So.
Okay, so we can't really report that.
Well, I'm not reporting it as fact. What I want to know
when
is.
you say I heard, what you should say is, I've heard speculation.
Okay. Okay, that's
a
fine.
big distinction.
Sure. Well, I've heard I don't know whether it's speculation or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
just
know
figured it was understood.
the validity of the information, but maybe Dermot Cole does know that the Democrats will be given a certain number of cabinet positions, which should inform people's vote.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah,
if they're going to control DEC, that's a pretty big deal.
But do you both agree with me that Miss Rogoff, the publisher of the Alaska Dispatch News, owes it to the general public to say, listen, I want the Walker-Malott ticket to win. I was a part of the formation of it. I was in on at least one of the meetings to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, my paper is, if she wants to tell us, but it is not reflected in the coverage of my paper, and then let the reader decide, that's fine. I think that's an argument she can't make because it's clearly very biased reporting on the governor's race from the Alaska Dispatch News. But the public needs to know that, and she needs to answer that question somewhere. And look, as I said earlier in the broadcast, the dirty little secret about journalism in Alaska and frankly most places is that it's always the newspaper that drives the narrative, drives the content. Most reporters in television are anywhere between 12 and 14 years old. They don't know much. They don't have any contacts. They don't have any sources. So what they'll do is they'll go to their morning meetings and they'll look at what's in the paper and they'll go, there's a story. I want to do that story. And that's why the paper's so important. Even though
it controls the news cycle.
It controls the news cycle. Now, granted, there was a day in which the Anchorage Daily News was probably 4 times the size it is now, and it was even much more of a factor. But still, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I think Ms. Rogoff needs to say, hey, here's my role in the Walker-Malott ticket.
Well, look, if there's multi-millions of dollars of advertising against Governor Parnell being put forth essentially on purpose by the paper, that's relevant. People ought to know. The reason that you haven't seen a positive story about Governor Parnell is they don't want to print them. They have a dog in the gubernatorial fight, and if they aren't going to print anything positive about Parnell, and they're going to print millions of dollars of negative advertising, and then they're going to print millions of dollars of positive advertising on behalf of Walker, then people ought to know that. They need to know what your motivation is.
Just close it.
Yeah.
Just tell us what you're about. There's this unattainable principle that's applied to journalism, which is you're supposed to be a robot. You document the facts and let the viewer or reader decide. I don't think that's attainable. If you've been in a market 6 months and you don't know anything about anything, it's easier to do. But Alice Rogoff is a very smart woman. She's a very wealthy woman. She spent a ton of cash for this newspaper.
$35 million, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would think I'm not going to spend $35 million to be a robot.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get that she wants to change the state. I totally get that she's an activist. I totally get that her worldview she wants to advance with her paper. $35 million, go at it. Have at it. I don't blame you for that. Good on you. But tell us, be honest. Don't act like you're being fair and balanced and unbiased. That's all I'm asking.
Drop the pretense.
Mm-hmm. Is that too much to ask?
No. I kind of wonder about these new journalists who, just come out of college. Maybe you'll have some perspective on that. But do they come out and want to do good and want to be unbiased, and then they get in this format, either television or newspaper, and then they see it? They see stuff like this with Alice Rogoff? I wonder about the new journalists who are like...
Well, my of course, I taught journalism at a college level, and I've been a news reporter on TV for a long time. And I was a columnist, and I hosted a talk show. My experience is those who go into television news want to be famous, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Those who go into print journalism want to change the world.
Yeah, but once they see stuff like this, do they go, for the most part, do they say, well, I'm just going to be part of it? Do they expect it? Or do they say, no, this isn't right?
When you realize the power you have as a journalist, and it is immense, you want to begin to employ that for your worldview. It's just natural.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer you're at a television station or a newspaper, the more you know the players, the more difficult it is to hide your bias. So yeah, it's all about, hey, here's what I believe. I'm going to advance it. You got to fake it. You got to pretend like you're being fair and balanced. Fake it till you make it. That's right. 7:44. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie.
blue.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give them a call. 569-1080. KOAN.
Hi, my name is Mike Ferris, President of Alaska Enterprise Solutions. We are the face of Xerox in Alaska. Xerox is a trendsetter, and AES Xerox is following in those footsteps. We are the document management experts, specializing in short-term rentals of copiers and scanners. We have offices in Anchorage and Fairbanks, and we are your Xerox professional agency with an Alaska focus. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
Being a business owner isn't easy. There's managing people, customers, income, expenses, unexpected issues, growing your brand, and so much more. Ready to be more efficient in everything you do? Then listen to Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Each week, David gives you the inside scoop on the latest business news and trends, along with tools for keeping your business on track. Getting Down to Business with David Weatherholt. Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. on Hot Talk, KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 a.m.
The highway, a strip of asphalt to carry you between points A and B. But in an all-new 2015 Mercedes-Benz GLA, there is no point B. Because when you're driving a GLA from Mercedes-Benz, you're not concerned with the destination, only the adventure. With off-road transmission mode and a sleek design, this SUV performs with confident style on any terrain. And no matter where your adventure takes you, the all-new GLA's sporty, expressive styling fits in, yet stands out, complementing the many sides of you. Lease the 2015 GLA 250 4MATIC for $369 a month for 36 months with $3,889 due at signing.
Available only to qualified customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through October 31st, 2014. Call 1-800-FOR-Mercedes for offer details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best. Or nothing.
Paid for by Gruenberg for State House Committee, Anchorage.
Energy and commitment for Northeast Anchorage. That's Max Gruenberg. For us, he's the next best thing to being a legislator ourselves.
Hi, I'm Max Gruenberg. I'm proud to represent you in the Alaska Legislature, and I'm proud of what we've done together. I go to our community councils, to our schools, and to your doors. When you speak, I listen.
When I asked you to protect our elders, you passed the Silver Alert Bill. That will help us locate missing seniors and other vulnerable adults.
When I asked you to make our streets safer, you authored the laws that prohibited viewing DVDs and texting while driving, and got funding to build a new sidewalk on...
Helped us get 2 new fire stations and a rescue boat in Cook Inlet.
And when we wanted to be sure there was a warm place for our pets at the animal shelter, you helped to make it happen.
I'm Max Gruenberg. I'd like you and your pet's support on November 4th.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give them a call. 569-1080. KOAN.
$7:48 in the morning. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Governor Parnell will be joining us here momentarily. True Guys Chiropractic, they're very, very interested in making you a healthier, pain-free person. That's what they do at True Guys Chiropractic. Dr. Myron Swigert and his team, Dr. Madden. Very impressive facility, state-of-the-art, latest technology. If you want to live a pain-free life, you want to sleep better at night, if you want to lose weight, they got it all, the complete package. True Guys Chiropractic. Give them a call, 694-9224, 694-9224. Governor Parnell will be here shortly. We're talking about the fact that Alice Rogoff, publisher of the Alaska Dispatch News, was in on at least one of the meetings in which the formation of the Walker-Malott ticket was promoted. She has not disclosed that.
Not promoted, was formed.
Formed's a better word.
Yeah.
She has not disclosed that to the public that I'm aware of. I've been trying to get in touch with her. She's not responded to me. Obviously, I don't paper has been anything but hyper biased toward the Walker ticket, and that's fine. It's your paper, it's your printing press. Do what you want. But I'm calling on Ms. Rogoff to actually disclose to us that she was on the ground floor level of the formation of the Walker-Malott ticket, and as publisher, it has greatly impacted how her paper covers the governor's race. That's all I'm saying.
And it should be also known that she was not there, like you said, as a reporter.
Yeah. No,
because some people might assume that she was there reporting on it.
Well, I'd also like to know what it was if she asked for anything in order for this ticket to form.
You know, one thing that Glenn is important, you know, on August 2nd, she wrote a column in the paper, which is very unusual for a publisher to do, calling for unity in the state.
Yes.
So unity's a big deal to her.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any quid pro quo here. I don't think there's...
Well, I want to ask her whether or not she did ask for anything from these guys in order to form them, or maybe made a suggestion. Look, if you guys could get together, you could give him, you know, this number of cabinet positions, or, you know, you could drop this position that you have or that position. I'd be interested if she made any suggestions about how this ticket formed, because it was a miraculous thing. I will say, for the Democrats to give up and not even have a gubernatorial candidate after 70,000 people voted for him, for Malott, in the primary, to not even have one, to not carry one forward. It's not like this is not a big deal. It's not like this happens every day. It never happens. It's never happened. Something major happened in the middle of the formation of this, and we don't know what it is. We have no information whatsoever. I will posit to you. I will guarantee you, if you're a conservative, you do not have a clue what Walker's going to do when he gets into office. You think you've been told that he's a conservative, that he's going to cut the budget, that he's going to figure out how to get us a gas line by having the people who want to buy the gas build it. He's never told you what he's going to give for that, by the way. How many billions he's got to give up for that. You think you know what he's going to do. You think he's pro-life. I keep talking to people who, they're 100% pro-life. They don't even like to vote for people who aren't pro-life 100% of the time. And Walker has walked away from his pro-life stance, and then he's walked back to his pro-life stance. I guarantee you don't know what he's going to do when he's in office. This is just maddening to me. There are so many people who claim to be conservative who think that they know what Walker is about, what he's going to do. This Rogoff thing should start to pull back the shroud, at least a little bit, at least so you can ask a little bit of a question of yourself. I know you want this gas line, and I know you want to believe in Walker. The question is, what are you getting?
I don't know Ms. Rogoff at all. As I said, I met her once at Fairbanks, and she walked up to me and says, well, I'll at least say this for you, you're smart. Which was kind of a backhanded comment. But, you know, I don't know that she wants anything. I think some people really believe in the myth that you can take two vastly different political philosophies and worldviews and mix them into one. I'm not a believer in that. I believe that's what it's all about, fighting for your values, fighting for your worldview. Unity's overrated to me. Right and wrong is much more important than unity to me. You never go for unity compromising your core values. But there are a lot of people who are they're seduced by the notion of unity. Can't we all just get along, as the famous Rodney King once said? And I think Ms. Rogoff probably falls under that.
Well, here's what I know about unity. I saw a lot of unity in Goals 2000, in Medicare Part D. I saw a lot of unity in, let's just spend a little bit more money at the federal level.
Medicare
we'll nationalize
Part D was
this.
George Bush's big Medicare.
All of those things were George Bush. Look, I know what unity is. Unity is we will give up our values, we will implement your policies, and then we'll try and figure out how to call them conservative.
Well, we saw it with the bipartisan coalition here in Alaska. They spend money like drunk sailors.
The highest deficit, or the highest budgets ever. Luckily, we had at least a little bit of money to cover over that, but they spent billions of dollars that we didn't have, or soon won't have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, I think it's very important for Alice to come out, tell us. I'm not interested. I'm not interested if she wanted anything. What I'm interested in is if she suggested anything. She's a part of this ticket where they're trying. Basically, what we're saying is, there's a negotiation that's going on between Bill Walker, Craig Fleener, his lieutenant governor. Tom Begich was there, but you had Malott and Hollis French, who's a very, very proud liberal. He's not going to walk away.
With name recognition.
With name recognition, he's not walking away from his beliefs. He believes deeply and totally in the idea that it is us versus them. We must regulate business. We must tell them what is right. We must make them do what is right.
Be in their boardroom.
That we must be in their boardroom. We have to make the decisions for them. They can't be trusted with any power. It is only government and me as trust. Hollis French is not walking away from that idea. So what I want to know, since she was in the room, who promised what? I want to know if you suggested that anybody promised anybody else what. Now, obviously, it is going to be very difficult for them to come out and tell us what was promised. But if you're a conservative, if you're a common sense independent, if you're a libertarian, and you think you know who this Walker Malott ticket is, without knowing what Alice Rogoff knows, because that's what's really going to happen. What she discussed, what she was in on these meetings weren't nothing meetings like...
Meeting is all we've confirmed.
Right. These meetings weren't, gee, let's just get together. The idea of this ticket, which had never happened before, was made in these meetings.
Well, and
what happened in these meetings is what will happen in government.
And Craig Fleener, when he was here last week, admitted this could not have happened without me.
Yeah.
I stepped down, and that's why this happened.
Craig Fleener had legal right to say this.
But Glenn, we're going to know, right? When Craig Fleener's Fish and Game Commissioner, when Hollis French becomes DNR Commissioner,
or a judge,
or whatever it is, we're going to see it all play out.
Yeah,
right.
We'll know.
So we'll know.
Yeah, we will know.
It'd be nice to know before the election is your point.
Well, that's my point is there's a lot of people who say that they're pro-life. There's a lot of people who say that they're pro-development. There's a lot of people who say that they want a gas line and all these other things. I don't know that you know who you're voting for. I really think that a lot of times, look, this is human nature. Human nature is we vote on hope. We hope things are going to turn out. Walker's the message. He's the candidate of hope. We don't really know. Well, what was his unknowns? 37%.
37%.
That's huge.
Haven't made up their mind on him.
Bo Walker's unfavorables are only 23%, while the governor's are 46%.
I don't know how Parnell pulls that out, by the way.
Oh, I do. I think 46 is, look, Mark Begans' disapprovals are 52% right now.
Yep.
Anytime it's above 50, you're done. You're toast.
I agree. Mark Begans got a horrible time trying to get his seat back.
Parnell, and by the way, this is a Democratic pollster, so we got to take it with a grain of salt. Sean Parnell's unfavorables are 46, his approvals are 42, his not sures are 12. Walker's favorable only 40%, which is typically, that's the left, Glenn. When you look at what the left typically gets in the states, about 40%. But
I don't think that is, by the way. I think you're wrong on that.
You think it's higher?
I don't think that the 40% of people who have a favorable opinion of Bill Walker are people of the left.
Who you think they're conservatives and leftists?
I think that there are people all over the map because nobody knows what to make of him.
Right.
Nobody knows what was promised.
37%.
The only one person that we know who was in this meeting or we know several of them who were in there. Jim Lotzfeld probably could tell us. Alice Rogoff could tell us. Whoever her lieutenant was there. Margie Johnson could probably tell us. I'm desperate to know. I think this is the biggest story. If Alice Rogoff's paper would cover this, if they would go and interview her about what she knows.
That's awesome. The governor's next. We're going to get this is the first time we've talked to the governor about the Rogoff connection to the Walker ticket. Very interested in his reaction. 7:58, Governor Parnell is next. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron, KOAN, KVNT. Stay with us. Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron, KOAN, KVNT. Stay with us.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
October is National Pizza Month. Just hearing the word pizza brings a smile to almost everyone's face. And Sicily's Pizza wants to make you smile 5 times as big with their National Pizza Month special. Get as many as 5 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $9.99 each. Whatever style you like. For fast delivery, call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's National Pizza Month special. 333-8000 or order online at SicilysPizza.com. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza. 333-8000.
You're listening to Hot Talk, KOAN, Anchorage, AM 1080, and retranslated on 95.1 FM on K236CG, Anchorage.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. New travel restrictions have just been announced for people flying into the United States from countries with Ebola outbreaks. More live from Fox News Radio's Evan Brown.
Chris, it is not a travel ban, but it makes all people flying from the Western African nations stricken with Ebola to fly through the 5 U.S. airports already screening passengers. Those screening measures went into effect at New York's JFK, at Newark, Chicago's O'Hare, Atlanta, and Washington Dulles, where an estimated 94% of air travelers from Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Guinea entered the U.S. Now any and all people flying from those
show they're ready to treat these patients.
Reports. Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson says the department is working closely with airlines to implement the measures with minimal disruption. Chris?
Evan, thanks. Terrorist idea
Here to make sure that proper safety protocol.
in soldiers with his car near Montreal. One died. The suspect was shot and killed by police after a chase. Neighbors say Martin Couture-Rouleau, 25 years old, was a recent convert to Islam. The Paralympic sprinter Oscar Pistorius has started serving his 5-year prison sentence for killing his girlfriend Reva Steenkamp, shooting her through a bathroom door Valentine's Day 2013. That's the sentence he got from the judge who convicted Pistorius of the South African equivalent of manslaughter. Fox News Radio's Paul Tilsley's in Pretoria.
Oscar Pistorius showed no reaction when sentence was delivered. There was very little reaction, too, from the Steenkamp's family. Immediately after the sentence, the Steenkamp family lawyer gave a brief statement to reporters saying that the family believed that all they had ever wanted was justice and that justice has now been served.
We're told by legal experts there that Pistorius could end up spending about 10 months in prison with the rest under house arrest. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 169 points. And you're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
America was built by people with a few dollars and a dream. And while many don't know it, there's one path to success that still only requires a dream and about $10. That's right. If your dream is to start or grow your business, something as simple as the right business card could make all the difference. And today at Vistaprint.com, you can get 500 full-color business cards for only $9.99. That's right, only $9.99. Just go to Vistaprint.com and enter promo code 1818 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 1818.
If you're looking for exhilaration, you found it. Whether cruising the road with a Can Am Spyder, pounding trails with Can Am ATVs and side-by-sides, or carving snow with Ski-Doo sleds, these machines are engineered to thrill and perform. During the Yellow Tag event, save up to $4,000 on select models, plus get up to a 4-year extended warranty and great financing. Visit Team CC in Eagle River and Wasilla. Offer ends October 31st. Restrictions apply. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for details. For safety and training info, contact the ATV Safety Institute.
This is Dr. Ellenberg. Are you tired of taking medication?
The Blade Runner Oscar.
Side effects, then solutions. Do you want more than 15 minutes with your doctor? If you answer yes to those questions, you should consider calling the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine. At our center, we take the time to listen and focus on finding the cause of your health problems. Whether you have a cold, high blood pressure, diabetes, or cancer, we can help. Call the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine at 563-2366 or visit us online at drellenberg.com. We can help.
Paid for by Pruitt for State House, 2954 Brittany Place, Anchorage.
Let's brew it for our future. He'll fight for you and me, a strong economy. Let's brew it, he will do it. He's one of us, he has our trust. Let's brew it, he will do it for our future. Let's brew it, he will do it for our future.
East Anchorage supports Lance Pruitt.
I've known Lance Pruitt for 30 years, and there's no one better to lead East Anchorage.
Lance Pruitt is a person of the utmost integrity.
He's vital to what we need.
From my perspective as a high school principal, Lance Pruitt is the best choice for East Anchorage.
And he will have my vote.
And I'm voting for Lance because he's someone Alaska can trust.
Lance Pruitt, he will do it for our future.
Here's my good friend Keith Montronock.
Automotive repairs can be frustrating. Let me help. Call 349-1637. I have been in business for nearly 20 years at the same location. Specialty Truck and Auto is in South Anchorage behind the Long Branch Saloon where Diamond becomes Abbott. I have 6 ASE certified technicians working from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have a voucher for any of the 6 Alaska Laser Wash locations for each customer. If you schedule ahead and need a ride when you drop your vehicle off, I may be able to help. Call Specialty Truck and Auto, 349-1637.
Alaska's Energy, America's Values, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. EnergyandValues.com.
Mark Begich is unbelievable.
Washington thinks it knows what's best for Alaska, and that's what I'm fighting against every day.
Fighting? Begich voted for all Obama's appointments, like Sally Jewell as Secretary of the Interior. Jewell immediately said no to exploration in Anwar and no to a King Cove road. Begich didn't fight Washington. He rolled over, like he rolled over for Obamacare. Now Begich is trying to duck and hide on Obamacare, on oil taxes, on cap and trade, on the IRS scandal, even on Anwar. How can you deliver Anwar, Mark, when Harry Reid says a Democrat-controlled Senate will never allow an Anwar vote? Alaskans can't trust a thing Begich says. It's time to replace Malarkey Mark with U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and 1080KOAN.com.
I knew that I wouldn't. I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't. So good.
6 minutes past 8 o'clock on this 21st day of October 2014. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie on KOAN, KVNT. We're happy to welcome here in the studio the governor of our state, Governor Sean Parnell. Governor, good to see you. How are you?
I'm well. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to be with you three, the three musketeers here.
Yeah, well, I wish so much I could have been here when your wife was on the show last week. I hear she did really well, and
I thought she did. I heard significant part of the program, and she appreciated being on with you, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, well, I've heard so many good things about her. I don't even know that I've ever met her.
Well, it's I like to joke, and just as Dan Sullivan does, that if Sandy Parnell was on the ticket and Julie Sullivan were on the ticket, they'd win like 95% of the vote, because they're great people.
Very impressive.
Very delightful.
We reported on the show here yesterday that there are 2 people who've confirmed for me, and of course I can't say their names, but that Alice Rogoff was in on at least one of the meetings. She was present at least one of the meetings that began the process to form the unity ticket, the so-called unity ticket. Now, I don't think anyone can argue that her paper and the journalism they've practiced in the governor's race is about as slanted as anything I've ever seen. How many National Guard stories can you do? Everything they're doing, especially Dermot Cole and some of their columnists, it's just clearly biased. But then when you factor in the fact, Governor, that Alice Rogoff apparently, according to my sources, is in favor of the unity ticket, was a part of the formation of it, and for her not to disclose that, I've been in journalism my whole life. I don't know that I've seen anything that is scandalous as that is in the journalism realm. What is your reaction to this?
Well, assuming those facts are true, that I think that's a breach of journalistic ethics, and effectively it makes me question whether her journalists now have a license to kill, figuratively speaking, when it comes to the stories they write. And everybody that writes, has a perspective, and they write from that perspective. But there's a difference when a publisher would do something like that, the leader of a newspaper. So, hearing that report certainly causes me concern. I'd be interested to hear Alice's reaction and give her the benefit of, responding to what you've described. So, and I'll wait for that.
And I should say that we have reached out to her. We've not heard back, and so we will report whatever it is she says. And I'm assuming eventually she'll have to address this. But it's not so much just that they've gone after you at every opportunity, any excuse. The National Guard scandal, yes, there's some problems.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But they're not, clearly didn't start with your administration. They go back, Amanda Coyne had something the other day that there was Even Tony Knowles was, made aware of this. And
well, but we're going to make it right. I mean,
I know
this is my job to make it right, and there is so much positive news to be reporting about what's happening over there right now. I'd love to see them actually take an interest in our National Guard members today and looking forward, but I don't see that happening.
Well, you met with them the other day, even in a closed town hall, and how did that go?
Why did you do a closed?
Well, let me ask you one more question here, because the thing that the bias is so strong is not so much that they're going after you, which they clearly are, but it's the sins of omission. Bill Walker is literally going to this group and saying one thing, and then another group saying the complete opposite.
Absolutely.
For example, the Great Alaska School Group, he said he's going to raise the base
student allowance
allocation and inflation-proofing education funding, and then he tells a conservative talk show host the other day he's going to cut everything by 16%. Now, that is not a plausible assertion. How the Daily News would ignore, or the Dispatch would ignore that?
Well, so he did tell Great Alaska Schools he's going to increase the BSA and add the inflation factor. That equals hundreds of millions of dollars in new spending in just a single term of a governor.
Right.
In Juneau, when I confronted him with his statement at a forum there that 16% that he wanted to cut 16% all at once, I asked, is education on the table? Is Medicaid on the table? For those cuts, and he says everything's on the table.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways, but apparently he's trying. So
and another thing that we talked about this morning, Governor, and as someone who's worked in journalism my whole life, dirty little secret about journalism is that the newspaper drives the narrative. Most television reporters, they'll get into their morning meetings and they'll say, okay, what's in the paper? That's our story today. Mm-hmm. So when Rogoff has her team completely one-sided in the coverage of the governor's race, that affects Channel 2, affects Channel 11, it affects all the bloggers. They drive the narrative, and that's why it's so important that the people of Alaska know that Miss Rogoff apparently is in with and in favor of the unity ticket, and I think it's without dispute it's reflected in their coverage.
So I'm gonna wait to hear from her on your show, in terms of any more comment. But obviously, if that happened, that's a huge breach of journalistic ethics and calls into question all the reporting beyond that where it wasn't disclosed.
Right.
So. I'm still stuck on the Rogoff thing because I'm so desperate to know how this ticket formed, who was promised what. I just think I think it's so important for us to know who we're voting for, and I appreciate that. You haven't had 2 seconds to breathe. We're going to get into the National Guard issues, but I really want to hear from you. What's positive going on in the state, and then we'll get into National Guard after that. I mean, the news media coverage is 100% negative, 100% of the time. I imagine something good's got to be going on in the state of Alaska.
Something good. How about a growing economy? I mean, I was just on an airplane 2 days ago. Rode with a guy over to Kenai. He was coming back from working 2 weeks on the slope. He's 32 years old. He talked about having a job opportunity for a $35 an hour job when he's got friends in Montana who are making $10 an hour for similar work. And he's an Alaskan. He's raised here. But he thanked me for that opportunity. He just said, you literally cannot find a room to stay in on the North Slope. There's so much work going on. And he said, my wife and I now have an opportunity to buy a home. We've never had that opportunity before. So as I look around, I see a growing economy. I see it on the North Slope. I see it on the Kenai. I see it in Anchorage and all across the state. Gas line, historic progress there. I mean, they're doing the engineering and design work on a large volume gas line. That's huge, and that's significant for our future. So all around the state, I see 3,000 kids who've earned Alaska Performance Scholarships. I see 125,000 new job opportunities that 4 out of 5 of those are going to require a skilled or trade in the next 8 years, a certificate for a skill or trade. And I've proposed how we get our kids ready for that by having them graduate with a high school diploma as well as a certificate in a skill or trade, so they can go to work if they want right after high school. That's what I intend to do with the next 4 years, is just create more opportunity for them, give them that chance.
All right, softball question's over. We're going to go to
how much time do we have? How much time do we have before a break?
No, we're coming up on a break. So when we come back, I do want to talk about National Guard, rural-urban issues, because those are really sort of heated up, and I'm not sure that I understand them. I'm trying to. So I'll look forward to that.
Governor Sean Parnell is here. We'll take calls for him, too, if you want to join the show. 569-1080, 569-1080. Time currently 8:14. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie.
Trail Boss Solutions is an Alaskan-owned, nationally recognized top 500 construction and remodel firm. From our handyman services to our award-winning kitchen design and remodel, Trail Boss Solutions is fully licensed, bonded, and insured, and has the experienced professionals to take your project from initial design through completion on time and on budget. Please visit us on the web at trailboss-solutions.com or contact Trail Boss Solutions direct at 646-1403.
Hi, I'm Senator Anna Fairclough. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing good people attacked. And that's why I'm speaking to you about my friend Kathy Giesel. Senator Giesel deeply cares about her neighbors and what matters to them. She takes the time to listen to their issues and bring those concerns to Juneau. I'm disappointed that her opponent is willing to attack her and not stand on his own record. Kathy Giesel is someone I'm proud to work with, and with your support, she'll continue to fight for you.
Thanks, Anna. I'm Senator Kathy Giesel. I'm proud of Alaskans like Anna Fairclough, and I'm proud to be your voice in Juneau. I'll stand on my record and the work I've done in Juneau. From issues like healthcare, jobs, education, and a long-term fiscal plan to keep Alaska on the right track, I'm there for you. Paid for by re-elect Senator Kathy Giesel for State Senate, 12701 Ridgewood Road, Anchorage, Alaska, 99516.
You know, there are many people in Anchorage who have their own special place for gifts for occasions like Mother's Day or birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. Into Bell's Nursery and Gifts they go. And there's always something perfect. Bell's Gift Shop on Specking Road has a truly incredible selection of unique, creative gift ideas. Crystal, glass, and china and flatware, a wonderful kitchen section, candles, lotions and potions, and of course delicious Seas candies, and lots more. Great for browsing or finding that special gift. The Gift Shop at Bell's Nursery on Specking Road.
Well, howdy, I'm Nick Worthington for 4x4 Headquarters, Worthington Ford.
Home of over 1,000 vehicles and 700 4x4s.
Head in today and we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. 3 times your PFD, plus pick any vehicle, and you can make no payments until next year. Take a look.
Here's a Ford Explorer for just $89.50. And a Ford Expedition for $99.50.
Here's a Chevy 2500, only $99.50. And here's a Toyota Camry, just $13,900.
Remember, we've got over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, and winter is coming. Get a 4x4 for those icy roads ahead. And the best place for that is 4x4 Headquarters.
And we'll take up to 3 times your PFD. And folks, don't forget your trade-in. We need your trade-in.
Push, pull, or drag it in, and you'll get top dollar.
Now's the time. Head into Giant Worthington Ford on Gamble.
03-2500, Q15878, 08 Expedition, Q1688, 2012 Camry, Q1491, 07 Explorer, Q1111. On approved credit, subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Ends 10/23/2014.
And I approve this message.
These negative ads are everywhere.
Yeah, I stopped listening and did my own research.
Yeah, what did you find?
Well, I found I really like Dan Sullivan.
Well, I know he served in the Marines for 20 years, and he'll fight against President Obama and Democrats in Washington to protect my Second Amendment rights.
And did you know when he was our Attorney General, he worked to put an end to violence against women, defended the constitutionality of Alaska's Parental Notification Initiative Act, and sued the federal government to stop Obamacare.
I like that. What else you got?
Well, as a veteran himself, he's dedicated to fixing the problems plaguing Obama's VA. And he'll fight to ensure they get all the benefits they've earned.
Dan Sullivan. I'm sold.
Me too.
Dan Sullivan, a principled leader for Alaska. Dan Sullivan for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Allen West Guardian Fund, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. AllenWestGuardianFund.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
$8:19 in the morning. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron, Governor Sean Parnell's in the studio with us.
All right. I've heard quite a bit, and we're going to get to National Guard, and I think Bonnie might want to follow up on that. But I really would like to understand what is going on between the urban and rural parts of Alaska. You know, Pebble Mine is sort of the poster child for this, but I know that there's a lot more going on. What is it that people in rural Alaska want? What are they not getting? And how are you going to address it?
So, I mean, number one, they want safety. You know, they want to be safe in their homes and in their communities. And I've been addressing that aggressively with new village public safety officers. So we've more than doubled the number of village public safety officers and funded positions in the state to bring safety to communities that didn't have it. Number two, they need cheaper energy. And we've been providing the means to do that through renewable means, as well as, I mean, frankly, through straight subsidies, through the power cost equalization program, but also by giving them some tools. Like in the Northwest Arctic Borough, there's natural gas, and we've been working with NANA in terms of their exploration work for gas potential for that area. So,
well, how much time have they got left? I mean, let's center on energy here, because this is a real question. There are villages are sort of dying off. They're getting smaller. I don't want this to sound too negative, but it's a very serious situation. Yeah. People here in town, really, unless you get in a plane and go out to other places, you have no idea how hard it is to pay for $9 a gallon gas.
Yeah.
How expensive energy is to heat your home. It's just almost impossible. So I get the sense that they're sort of running out of time, and that there is this desperation that has sort of taken hold. Fairbanks as well, with the high energy costs there. Well, how do you get there before we run out of time?
Well, let's talk about that. One way you get there is through my interior energy project in Fairbanks. That is the anchor tenant for gas getting to our communities on the river system. So, for example, when we get gas trucked from the North Slope to Fairbanks, which is scheduled now for 2016, and pipes were being laid in Fairbanks this summer and fall by Fairbanks Natural Gas for that project that I brought forward with legislators. When we have gas being trucked to Fairbanks from a liquefaction plant on the North Slope, we then have the ability to get it to the river system communities as well, and begin the changeover from fuel oil to natural gas.
How far is that away? How far away before we get a liquefaction plant? And this is just a small one.
The pad was constructed this summer, so we're talking, a year and a half before. Wow. That's how close we are. But here's what Bill Walker wants to do. He says, because Parnell had a hand in that, that's not good.
I do get a sense that there's very negative.
He wants it to be all him.
Is that Malott, by the way, or is that Walker? Because I know that between Democrats and Republicans, there's a lot of sort of negative hand.
No, Bill Walker's mantra is, if Sean Parnell's got a hand in it, it must be bad.
We got to sue it.
We got to sue it, or like at Point Thompson.
I do worry about that. How many people do you think know about Walker suing the current Point Thompson settlement?
I don't think people know about it. He got on me for me continuing to say, hey, 16,000 new jobs. I think that's a positive. He got on me yesterday saying that's a horrible statistic, but yet he's trying to kill off the 1,000 jobs that are at Point Thompson this spring.
What did he want? What did he think would be a good statistic there?
He can't tell you.
Oh.
No, but he'll do a better job, he says. So.
Okay. No specifics.
He's the man with no plan, as I said.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that a lot of people look to government here in the state of Alaska, and government's much larger in the state than it is most other places. So it really is going to play a much bigger role. We've got to get to the National Guard issue. The number of generals here that are being let go is shocking. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never ever heard anything like this happening anywhere else in a military organization ever. What is the average person to make of this?
Did you read the report?
I didn't read the report.
Did you read the report? I mean, the report said the National Guard membership has lost trust and confidence in its leadership.
This is the federal report.
Yeah, this is the National Guard Bureau that I called in and said, we want an independent, deep dive review of all things National Guard. Now, you say it's never happened before. Well, I got to tell you, it happened in Arizona, and it happened about 2 years ago. Governor Brewer, called in the same OCI group, Office of Complex Investigations.
Did that inform you as to what you ought to do in order to get to the bottom of this?
Absolutely, and it's informing us on our way forward. In fact, for example, we've got the new Adjutant General, the one who's been there for 13 months from Arizona, sitting on our vetting team for our hiring process with our new adjutant general. So that's 27 people that applied for adjutant general. General McGuire, his name is General Mick McGuire of Arizona, is on the team with my office staff, reviewing and vetting those applications and helping us gauge and helping them gauge who would be the right person to bring into the situation, because he knows, because he's the guy that's doing it.
He's dealt with the aftermath of it.
He's dealt with the aftermath,
Sure.
and we're making positive progress there. They're doing interviews this week, and they're doing the right thing. So.
Well, I'm glad, and I sense this in your request of people is not to forget the National Guard people as we go
Absolutely.
forward.
That's the bad thing about what I think, and that's the tragic thing about what the ADN has done, is they have painted this broad brush sweep of all Guard members, and the bad actors are very few in percentages, but they have caused a lot of harm and a lot of damage.
But they were in high positions. People looked the other way. People gave license.
Yes.
People.
Yes, they did. But again, there are thousands of good, patriotic, professional Guard members, and I told them they need to hold their heads high when I was told that some of them didn't feel like that.
So this was at the town hall the other night.
It was.
What was the attitude like there, and what were some of the concerns?
Just a lot of frustration with what's happened. With fear of retaliation if they spoke up. And I vowed, we're changing that. That's what following the roadmap that the National Guard Bureau has given us is about. And there's positive progress going on in implementing those recommendations. That's what the media ought to be reporting.
Yeah, I really liked that there was no leadership allowed there the other night. That spoke to me as a voter, and it showed me that, wow, he's really wanting to really, really hear from these people.
I did. I mean, and I do. That was actually my third town hall like that with Guard members, and it was my largest. There were about 350 plus members there, but I wanted to hear from the rank and file, and I wanted them to be able to speak more freely and candidly than they otherwise would have with officers in the room.
Did they?
Has it changed, by the way, when, before you got these reports and you sort of forwarded them on to the authorities? Are you taking this more personally? I imagine people are still coming forward to you and letting you know, look, this happened maybe 2010, 2011, 2012.
Well, mid-1990s, I mean, we're hearing of things that happen. I mean, this really does drag up a problem across time. But I have always taken it personally in the sense that when a victim comes forward with something, I take that personally.
But why didn't the APD? Why didn't the troopers? I think they said they had 2 reports on all these rapes that are going on in our town, and they just happen to be National Guard members. Sometimes they're on base, sometimes they're not, but they're all APD. They're all state trooper cases.
Fairbanks Police Department.
Why the lack of response from our officers?
I think you asked them. I think they're responsible for that.
And a lot of it is that a lot of the victims didn't come forward, Glenn. And that was clearly a part of what the investigation found, that they were so frustrated that they didn't want to speak and they didn't want to go forward, and that's why the lack of action from the law enforcement.
But let's,
is that correct?
Well, I think you should ask law enforcement what they did with the files and what they didn't do.
This is another part of what we have to know as the public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real quick on the ballot initiatives, I don't think we've asked you about this. The pot initiative, your thoughts on that?
I'm a no. As I think about that and just look at our kids. Why would we send a message that it is okay we're going to legalize pot and it's okay to go use, when at the same time we know that it leads to diminished initiative in life, bad school scores, and grades, and then on the other hand, they come out of school, they get a job, and marijuana hangs out in your body for 30 days, and they're going to take a test, a blood test, urine test, not pass it, and lose their job. Why would we say that is okay?
And Walker's with you on that, right? You guys don't disagree on that.
No, you ask him.
No.
I think that's I think he is a no.
Now on the anti-mining initiative, the Pebble mine, basically let's
ballot for.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm a no, and here's why. When you think about the legislature making permitting decisions, do we want politics in that process like that? And where do we stop?
Yeah.
Does the legislature make other permitting decisions?
What do you make of, real quick, Walker's flip-flop on Pebble?
I think it's par for the course. I've seen it in many fronts there. Yeah.
Governor Parnell, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
Governor Sean Parnell, 829, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Appreciate it. Governor Sean Parnell, 829, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie.
Five, 569-1080. Join the conversation. KOAN.
Local news brought to you by Jansen Funeral Home.
Fagan and Biegel. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on the Talk of the Valley. KPNT. Online at 1020 K.
Like family, they're there when you need them.
With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. Senator Mark Begich is urging President Obama to order international airports, including Anchorage, to expand its screenings for Ebola. In a letter to the president, he said sensible travel restrictions must be used to prevent the disease from spreading into the U.S. Same-sex marriages are back on in this state, as we hear from Ann Kenda.
Calling it their own fairy tale, Courtney Lamb and Stephanie Pearson married in a 4-minute ceremony at the Midtown Anchorage Frontier Building on Monday, after a week of legal drama. The state is still seeking a review from an appeals court, but gay marriage supporters have declared victory.
The first measurable snow has made an appearance in Anchorage. 0.6 inches recorded Sunday, making October 19th the date of the first official snowfall of the year, although there were some light dustings previously. That's your Hot Talk News update. Local weather is next.
Partly sunny skies for today, high 39. Mostly clear and chilly tonight, low 21. For tomorrow, sunny skies, high 38. Tomorrow night, low 21. Thursday, sunshine and clouds for a high 35. Friday, clouds and sun, high 34. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Hey folks, this is Chris and Brock from The Beer Show. Make sure to listen to us every Saturday at 5 p.m. on 95.1 and 1080 KOAN.
The Beer Show is brought to you proudly every single week by Humpy's Great Alaska Ale House, Brown Jug Alaska, Great Artisan Beverages, and the Odom Corporation. Always drink responsibly. 6.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Writing down what you eat helps you lose weight, and I do this all the time. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. People often get frustrated when they're trying to eat healthier because the scale doesn't seem to budge. The culprit might be mindless eating. Grab a cookie at your lunch meeting and then a handful of candy from the bowl in your boss's office. Those extra calories can sabotage your weight loss effort. Many studies have found that people who write down everything they eat lost twice as much weight as those who didn't. Twice as much. Keeping a food diary works because it first helps you identify your eating habits. It also keeps you accountable for everything you put into your body. My wife and I keep a food diary and we share it with each other, which for me really helps keep me on track. Remember now, a little bit goes a long way. Losing just 10% of your body weight can help lower blood pressure and your risk for diabetes and heart disease. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Right now at the Home Depot, kitted 10-year sealed battery smoke and carbon monoxide alarms start at just $24.97. So, let's worry less. Let's do smarter fire safety. Alarms that won't turn off, and batteries that won't chirp for 10 long years. Let's do this. Get a worry-free alarms, starting at just $24.97. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. U.S. only. See store for details.
Did you know up to 1 in 5 Americans will get the flu this year? Because less than half of us get vaccinated? You didn't know? That's okay. We do. Rite Aid has certified immunizing pharmacists at the ready to discuss your risks, answer your questions, and shield you from what you don't know. So get your flu shot, no appointment necessary, at Rite Aid today. With us, it's personal. Flu vaccines available while supplies last. Age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacist for details.
When I grow up, I want to be a pro basketball player. An elementary school teacher.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, Country Financial helps you and your family grow your own way.
Or maybe a veterinarian. A mom, a doctor, and president of the United States. Maybe an astronaut or, an Olympic gymnast.
You can grow your own
We know some dreams take a little longer to achieve, which is why your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything, from auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream.
Or maybe an accountant, like my dad.
For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Glen Biegel, you have beautiful teeth.
Why, thank you, Dan Fagan. That's because my family and I have gone to Dr. Dan Kiley for years.
I get scared at the dentist.
Dr. Kiley knows people like you are afraid, so he creates a relaxed atmosphere at his office. People actually like going to the dentist for Dr. Kiley.
I know it's important to have good dental health.
And you look better with good teeth. And Dr. Kiley offers cosmetic dentistry along with general care.
Visit Dr. Dan Kiley at lakeotisdental.com. Call him at 562-9209.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call, 569-1080. KO.
$8:35 in the morning. Dan Fagan, Glen Biegel, Bonnie Cameron. Our good friend Keith Montanak over at Specialty Truck and Auto. He's a mechanic you can trust. They're very good at what they do over there. They have the very latest technology when it comes to automobile repair. You know, when you work on a car today, it's like working on a computer. And Keith and his team, boy, they're good, man. They know the very latest. And he's a good man. You know, you've heard Keith on my show through the years. You know who he is. You know all about him. You know his record of helping the military and supporting the military. He's just one of our quality citizens. Keith Montanak, Specialty Truck and Auto, right across the street from the Long Branch Saloon off of Abbott. Here's his number, 349-1637. Give him a call. He'll give you a ride back to work if he has the personnel to do it, and most times he does. 349-1637. Glen Biegel's in here. Bonnie Cameron's in here. We just had the governor. Glen, you made a great point during the break about, and for those who are just joining us, we have learned that Alice Rogoff attended at least one of the meetings that was about forming and creating the Unity ticket.
Essentially the negotiation process for creating it or the idea behind it. We don't know exactly what was discussed.
Alice Rogoff from the Alaska Dispatch News.
Very good. And I don't know if she was in on a meeting where they just got together and said, hey, what do you think about the Unity ticket? Or if she was actually in on the meetings where they discussed who gets what in the trade-offs. I can't report that. All I can report is that at least one of the meetings, and she may have been on all of them, I have no idea, but all I can do is report that at least one of the meetings, Alice Rogoff, publisher of the Alaska Dispatch, was there present. And this is a meeting that was all about forming the Unity ticket. So,
along with Begich's political operatives, along with Beltrami's political operatives, in essence...
Beltrami, I don't know if his operatives were there, but Beltrami was there.
Beltrami there, yeah. So what we're talking about is a meeting of political operatives.
The head of the AFL-CIO.
AFL-CIO. Yeah. We're talking about a bunch of political operatives who are there with the publisher of a newspaper who employs dozens of people who've been continually trying to destroy this governor.
So the first thing we can report is that she was there. The second thing, I don't have to tell you, the listener, that the Alaska Dispatch News has been blatantly, without dispute, biased in favor of the Walker ticket.
I believe you'd say deplorable.
Deplorably, blatantly in favor of the Walker ticket in its reporting. Now, what Glenn said during the break, which I thought was very revealing, you know, my first thing was Alice Rogoff needs to confirm or deny whether she was there. And secondly, she needs to tell us, you know, she needs to declare to the public that as a publisher of the Alaska Dispatch News, I was in on the formation of the Unity ticket. Now, what Glenn says, which I think is a great point, if she was in on the meeting where they actually talked about who gets what, she needs to report that as the publisher of the newspaper.
Isn't that the most critical? Isn't that maybe even the only question which remains, which is we've had something unique happen.
Yep.
The Democrats and Hollis French has stepped down. Hollis French,
Fleener also.
The believer. Yeah, and Craig Fleener's a believer, but Hollis French is a true believer here. And the power of government.
Speaking of Craig Fleener, he's on the phone now. Craig, how are you?
Hey, I'm all right, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
So I just can't sit idly by and hear this stuff go on. I was sitting in the meeting for 4 days, and I can tell you the long list of names that you just mentioned were not sitting in there. You're talking about Vince Beltrami. I've never even met the guy. He was not there the 4 days of discussion.
Yeah.
And all of the stuff you guys talk about that were given away was not given away. There was nothing given away. There were
Craig, is it possible that you were not in on the meetings where the real discussions
Well, let me
were
ask
going
you this,
on?
Craig. Was Alice Rogoff in on any of these meetings?
She was not there the 4 days of the negotiations that took place over the weekend. Now, if she was involved in another discussion, I cannot speak to it, but I can absolutely tell you unequivocally that she was not there as part of this negotiation that was going on. Neither was Vince Beltrami.
Right, but these meetings that you described, the 4 meetings that led up to the actual agreement, were there other meetings prior to that to discuss the formation of the ticket?
Well, there was, as Bill Walker has said, he had a conversation with Byron, but beyond that, I can't tell you what meetings took place outside of the 4 that I was involved in, the 4 days, I should say.
And these were 4 days prior to the leading up to the very day that it was announced?
It was like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I don't remember exactly what.
And then the ticket was announced on what day?
You got me there.
Okay, I think it's Tuesday. I think Tuesday was it.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Tuesday sounds right. So it must have been Friday through Monday.
And then the ticket was announced on Monday.
Yeah, but I'm really just calling to let you guys know that I'm not sure where this information is coming from, and I've said it over and over again, and I know folks. I mean, I know folks are trying to look for some sort of something to let the
So
cat out of the
who was
bag,
at who was at these meetings? These 4 days of meetings.
It was folks from Byron's campaign, folks from Walker's campaign, and me.
Okay, and Hollis French was there.
Yeah, he was there. He wasn't there the entire time, but he was in and out.
Was Jim Lotzfeld there?
Jim Lotzfeld. I'm not even sure
Big
who
guy,
that is.
about 6'4".
No.
Okay, so these are the final
Was
meetings.
Tom Begich there?
Pardon me?
Tom Begich, was he
You
there?
just said people from Byron's campaign, people from the Walker campaign. Whose campaign did you count Tom Begich there? Because we know he was there.
Well, no, we don't know that.
Oh, not at these meetings.
Yeah, we don't know.
But there could have been the real meetings,
Yeah.
because we all know Tom Begich was
Craig,
behind.
who was at these meetings?
Well, I'm gonna ask before I start naming off who. was all
Why
at the
wouldn't you
meetings.
tell us? What would he have to hide?
Well, I don't think I have anything to hide. It's just that I want to make sure that.
Was there
I'm
anybody
not-
from the
I'm not at
Begich
heart-
camp there?
I'm not at the heart of the campaign anymore, so I want to make sure that I'm not.
Was there
saying
anybody
something out
from
of
the
place.
Begich camp there?
No.
So it
No,
was,
I mean there were clearly some Democrat Party folks. So you could you could say that they were.
was Tom
supporters.
Begich there?
I'm going to find out who I can if I can let you know the names of folks.
Well, I'm
that were there.
assuming he was there.
I'm just going to tell you that those other names that you've been mentioning and this great big setup that you've been talking about didn't take place.
But
anyways, I've got to run to work, so I just wanted to make sure I let you guys know a little bit of truth before the rest of the day goes on. All right,
well,
thanks a lot.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, take care now.
Obviously, he's not contradicting anything we said. There who knows how many meetings there were. All that I've reported is that at one of the meetings in which the formation of this ticket was discussed, Alice Rogoff was present. And, I don't know if that was one of the initial. This sounds like late-stage negotiations at this point. The 4 days that he's talking about.
He would have been involved in the negotiation to have the lieutenant governor candidate step down, which he legally had to do in order for them to break apart this ticket and reform a new ticket.
And I think it's pretty easy to conclude Tom Begich was there, because every time I'd ask him if someone was there, he would say no, and then when I asked Tom Begich, he said he didn't want to say. I mean, that may be.
Well, it's already been reported that Tom Begich was there.
Yeah, but we're talking about these 4 meetings. Which could be different.
It could
than
be
other
totally different than the ones that were already reported on.
Yeah. Really, all Alice Rogoff needs to do is come forward.
Well, the one part I didn't understand why you didn't press him on was he said that these were negotiations.
Well, he left. He didn't want to talk anymore.
I know, but he kept bringing up negotiation, and I don't really understand what it is that they were negotiating. What would you negotiate for 4 days?
Yeah.
Was it issues that you would negotiate? Is it positions?
You get this.
Well, but that's why I thought. I mean, he might have at least some information about.
I think he
what
realized
was
that he
discussed.
made a mistake, and I better not say anything else because they're going to ask me questions I'm not going to be able to answer.
Well, it's very important for us to get the information. I appreciate Craig trying to call up and at least give us a little bit more.
844 Fagan Biegel Bonnie.
At least give us a little bit more.
844 Fagan Biegel Bonnie.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel. Give him a call. 569-1080. KOAN.
Tomcat kills up to 12 mice per bait block, faster than DCON. What will we do with all of these dead mice? Tomcat presents Dead Mouse Theater, and the critics are raving. They solved my mouse problem and renewed my faith in theater. I like my mice dead, but dead mice that can act are even better. Tomcat got the mice out of my walls, onto the stage, and into my heart. Dead Mouse Theater, open to the public this fall at tomcat.com. Tomcat. Engineered to kill. 1 ounce bait block based on no choice lab tests. Time for me for those today.
Paid for by More for Alaska, Anchorage.
Taking pride in work when it comes from the heart. Doing your best and staying the course even in tough times. There are Alaskans who still understand the value of service and sacrifice. Matt Moore is one of those. Someone who knows that paying your dues should come before office and power. That leadership, wielded by inexperienced and self-interested hands, can be destructive.
This is Matt Moore. Lance Pruitt is proud of his record. A record of not fully funding education. Budget deficits that put our permanent fund at risk. And supporting mega projects we can't afford. My father once told me, whatever you choose to do it well. That's the way our country was. The way I'd like to see it be again. Where pride in work comes from actually doing an honorable job. Because that's the way it ought to be.
Matt Moore, a legislator we can be proud of.
This is Olympic cross-country skier Holly Brooks. Are you an adult who wants to help today's girls become tomorrow's leaders? Girl Scouts of Alaska is looking for volunteers. Lead a Girl Scout troop, coach a Lego robotics team, or present at a workshop. Parents, grandparents, college students, and retirees can all be Girl Scout volunteers. All you need is a willingness to help make tomorrow's leaders from today's girls. Girls like me, because I was a Girl Scout. Visit www.girlscoutsalaska.org or call 248-2250.
The traffic jam. A stifling halt to your thrilling drive. But in a redesigned 2015 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, that interruption is at least tolerable. With the most luxurious interior in its class and an innovative touchpad, the all-new 2015 C-Class is as exciting to experience standing still as it is in motion. And with its improved acceleration power, your state of comfort continues, knowing you'll make it to your destination on time. See your authorized dealer and see the world differently in a C-Class from Mercedes-Benz. Lease the 2015 C300 4MATIC sedan for $439 a month for 36 months with $4,733 due at signing.
Available only to qualified customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participants.
Promoting responsible.
2014. Call 1-800-FL1-Mercedes for offer details.
Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
2014, Alaska's economy is picking up steam. Governor Sean Parnell has a gas pipeline project on track, signed agreements, field programs up and running, funding in place. But it's an election year, see? Bill Walker wants to stop this train. Walker's plan? Well, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy election. Walker tried to stop any gas line that didn't go to Valdez. Walker's plan had no gas, no permits. Alaskans know three things about Governor Parnell. He's an honest man, keeps his word, and cares deeply about Alaska. Parnell got Cook Inlet booming, Point Thompson and a gas pipeline moving forward. 16,000 new jobs created. Walker, he'd be a governor we'd regret. Maybe not today. Soon.
Re-elect Governor Sean Parnell, paid for by Parnell Sullivan 2014 for Alaska's future.
Hot Talk KOAN, man. You're on with Fagan and Biegel. 1080KOAN.com.
All right, 8:49. The drama continues.
So what did you get out of Fleener's comments?
Well,
we're
we're talking
Fleener,
about
Lieutenant Governor candidate, just called.
We're talking about Alice Rogoff, the publisher of the Alaska Dispatch, who I've been told by two reliable sources that she was in on at least one of the meetings that was designed to formulate and create the Unity ticket Walker Malott. That's what we've been reporting now for 2 days. Craig Fleener, who was on the ticket as lieutenant governor, called and said that she was not in the 4 meetings that he was in prior to the actual formation of the ticket, which happened. He also said Vince Beltrami wasn't there, and
Tom Beggett. He didn't want to say.
He didn't want to say on Tom Beggett, and he said Lotsfeld wasn't there. At least he didn't know who Lotsfeld was. You got to realize this ticket. Look, Fleener, with all due respect to him, he was going to be on the last stages. He wasn't going to be part of the process because it was, we need you to give up. And
he's not a political heavyweight. He's not an insider. You know, I mean, he was
a regular guy.
Yeah, he wasn't a regular guy. He was deputy commissioner for Department of Fish and Game. So
yeah, but he's not
not a political heavyweight.
I think he actually blamed that on you, even Glenn, didn't he?
What did I do?
He said, "Well, I realized after you said what my chances were that I should probably give it up."
Oh.
So thanks a lot,
You told him
Glenn.
that they couldn't win. No?
Well,
no, I think he said on air that they didn't really have a chance.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was for me. Every they knew they'd done
that
polling,
was-
and
yeah.
they polled at 27%.
But I think he tried to pin it on you.
So what? Yeah, he didn't really dispute anything that we've been reporting.
No.
He just said
Because
that
we don't
at
know
the
how many-
meetings that he was at,
Right.
none of the Alice Rogoff wasn't
Well,
there.
the 4 meetings leading up to the actual announcement.
That would have been well after decisions had been made and they decided to go forward, and whatever was given up was already sort of in the works.
And he was trying to also say, though, I have to clarify that he didn't hear anything promised. He said that
but
we keep saying
Glenn
that.
picked up on something, and he ran away. We couldn't get him to ask him. Is that there were negotiations?
Yes.
So how do you negotiate without promising?
All right.
So that he contradicted himself.
Well, they had to be discussing something for 4 days. You don't sit around a table for 4 days discussing stuff, negotiating, quote unquote, and not say, well, this we're going to do this. This is how we're going to deal with that. This is this issue. This is that issue. This is this position.
They were negotiating what Walker was going to give up.
I don't know. One thing I do believe is that that's true. That's exactly true because Walker had to do something in order for the Democrats to get off this ticket. They had to. I believe he had to offer something. I think it's the most important issue, the most important question, maybe the only question to be asked and answered for this election cycle. Now, Craig, I think, is very decent. He said, I wasn't promised anything. I didn't ask for anything. I want to be judged on my merits. I don't want a job from the Walker administration unless I'm the best person for it, period. End of story. So I do believe that that is his approach to the situation. He did a very great thing in giving up his lieutenant governor seat and saying, well, frankly, this may hurt me politically if I wanted to follow any political process.
I think he did
in the
a
future.
great thing by betraying the 70,000 people who voted for him.
No. He 70,000 people, I don't think, voted for him.
Well, he was on the ticket.
The independents don't have a primary.
Okay,
So nobody
he was a
voted
Democratic
for him.
candidate.
I think 3,000. Well, let's see. I think 3,000 people have to sign in order for Walker to
No, but
get
he
on.
was on the Democratic ticket.
Craig Fleener was
No.
just the he
Hollis
was with
French on the
Paul-
Democratic.
He was with Walker.
It was French and Fleener, right?
No.
No. It's Walker and Fleener.
Oh, Fleener was with Walker. I'm sorry.
Malott and
Malott
French.
and French. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
It is very confusing, frankly, and I don't know how hardly anybody can follow it. So we had a primary where the Democrats ran a candidate.
No, I got you.
Then all of a sudden
That's
they
my
pulled
bad.
the Democrat candidate off and decided, well, we're going to merge with this independent candidate, totally giving up all power
But
because
do
the
you
lieutenant
think-
governor has no power.
Do you think that it was honorable for Malott and French to betray the 70,000 people that voted for them?
Amanda Coyne doesn't think so, and
What do you think?
I trust her.
Oh,
What do
I
you
think she did at first. She did. At first, she was not happy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that she didn't like it.
That's what he said. But what do you think?
Yeah.
Whether or not it's honorable for them.
the 70,000 voters that
If
voted
they
for...
think, here's what I believe is they believe that the only way they being Malott and French and Tom Beggett and Vince Beltrami and all the other people who are behind this, they believe the best way to get as many Democrat-led values, as many Democrat-led initiatives, to enact as many laws, to control as many parts of the state, to be an offset to our oil industry, whatever it is that they want, that they believe that the best way to do that is partnering up. So in that sense, in order to enact their values, I do.
You're describing what happened. I'm asking your opinion.
Yes.
Do you think that for all the people, all the volunteers, all the people who gave their hard-earned money, all the people who gave away their precious vote to Malat and French, for them to betray all of that, you think that's honorable?
I think that if somebody came back to them and said, I sponsored you, I didn't sponsor this ticket, and they didn't give the money back, I think that would dishonor it. I think other than that, if people signed on and they think they're going to get something out of it, look, my sense is this is a Democrat ticket. This is what these Democrats want.
So
they want to fool as many conservatives as they can to thinking this is going to be a conservative ticket.
Do you think that the Hollis French, Byron Malat ticket, which had people who I would imagine gave their lives in volunteer time, probably worked countless hours, putting up signs, knocking on doors, making phone calls, all the people that gave her their hard-earned money, all the people who gave her their precious vote, you don't think that that was a betrayal of all those people?
That's politics.
They don't care. They're going to vote for...
I'm not asking about what they think. I'm not asking about what you think. I'm asking what Glenn thinks. What do you think? Was that a betrayal?
I think that the Democrats who supported Walker Malat are happy that they at least are going to live to fight another day.
If they betrayed those people.
Politics is a dirty business. I don't put a lot of morality into the political process.
But do you think it was a betrayal of those people?
No.
You do not?
I don't. Mm-mm.
What do you think, Bonnie?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I think that they don't care. If it had been a Republican,
okay,
yes, it would be yes, it would be a betrayal. The Democrats don't care about that.
I'm asking you, is it a betrayal?
Yes.
Obviously. I don't see how you can see it any other way.
It is, but the thing is that they're still going to vote for him. It doesn't matter to them if it's a betrayal or not. They're still going to vote for him.
The question
yes,
is
it's a betrayal. Yes, it's a betrayal.
What do you think
they don't
Glenn's
care.
saying it's not a betrayal?
Well, I think he's thinking from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a betrayal if you feel betrayed.
No, it's either a betrayal or it's not. Right?
From a leftist point of view, I don't think they care.
I'm not asking you to become a leftist and start acting like one and talking like one. I'm asking you, is it a betrayal?
I already told you 3 times, yes, it's a betrayal.
But you don't think it's a betrayal?
Mm-hmm. I think of politics in totally different ways than you, so I don't even understand what you're saying. What
don't you understand about having 70,000 people vote for you, giving you their precious vote that men and women in uniform throughout history have fought to give you the right to vote, and after they voted for you, you betray them by saying, never mind.
You don't understand the political party. That's not what you just described is not the case. People didn't die so that there could be 2 political parties that matched up against each other.
I'll bet that's how Joe Miller felt after the primary when the Republicans started supporting Lisa Murkowski.
Was that a betrayal?
Oh, yeah.
I believe we just found a double standard.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because they were doing it against their own principles, and they were doing that against their voters.
You sure you don't want to amend your position for the record?
No,
We're about to run out of time.
No, I don't think so. The political parties don't carry that much weight, quite frankly.
That's it. We're done. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday afternoon. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. KOAN, KVNT. Have a great day.